welcome into McKeon Park here for Game 41 of the Harbor Hawks season. Back at home is the Hyannis Ball Club after dropping a 10-6 contest against the Wareham Gatemen in last night's ball game. Hi, everybody. Welcome into the Hyannis Harbor Hawks pregame show. I'm your host, Lyle Goldstein, and today in Game 41, Hyannis welcoming in the last place Orleans Firebirds of the Eastern Conference. Orleans on the season, currently sitting at 27 points, one back of the Brewster Whitecaps, and looking to clinch up a final playoff spot in the Eastern Conference. So far, Chatham, YD, and Harwich all going to the playoffs, but between Brewster and the Firebirds, one spot left remaining. Those two teams in the final three games looking to battle things out. Harbor Hawks, on the other hand, their playoff spot already locked up. The first time since 2016, Hyannis is going to the playoffs. They'll square up against either the Katuitt Kettleers, Wareham Gatemen, or Falmouth Commodores. The Bourne Braves, as of last night, officially eliminated from postseason contention, as those ball club, as Bourne last night dropped the contest out at home at Doran Park. And after making the Cape Cod League finals last season, dropping that to the Brewster Whitecaps, they won't be going dancing here in 2018. Hyannis, meanwhile, last night, still at 21 wins on the season, fall to third place in the Western Conference. Once again, a 10-6 loss to the Wareham Gatemen. Scoreless through the first seven. Gatemen were up 10-0, and then 6 runs through the final 2 innings for the Harbor Hawks, but just a little bit too little, too late. We'll take you back and relive those highlights right here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks digital network. Stay tuned.
League season for the Hyannis Harbor Hawks doesn't necessarily have a must-win feel for the Wareham Gatemen, but the Harbor Hawks need to take this one home. Tracking back towards the wall, looking up, and that ball sails out of the yard for a 2-run home run. Touch them all, Austin Shenton. Wareham Gatemen are up 2-0 in the bottom of the first with 1 away. Before a base hit, coming around second base, Goldfarb stops up at third. Isaac Collins secures bragging rights over his buddy Brett Schultz. They've known each other since they were 12, and Collins has reached base 3 times on the fellow Maple Grove, Minnesota native. A walk, a hit by pitch, and now a nobody out single in the bottom of the 4th inning. And blocked by Mike Baffa on the mound, grounded right back up at him, but he hip checks it, knocks it down, throws it over to Brady Lindsley, and there goes the inning. 3 more runs come for the Wareham Gatemen. 5 hits in this inning. 2 men left on base. And now the Harbor Hawks come for the top of the 5th inning, trying to come back from a 6-0 deficit.
David, my favorite part is going to team dinner, taking pictures of the guys eating some fantastic meals out there. Shout out to all the sponsors of the good old Hyannis Harbor Hawks.
Hyannis Harbor Hawks digital network has Brady giving me some really tearful comments. And folks, the lights are on right now.
Fly ball out to shallow center field, getting down for a base hit. Eric Rivera getting a wave on from third, coming home, standing up, the throw not in time, and Brady Lindsley, have yourself a 4-hit night. 10-6 Gatemen in the top of the 9th, and Brady Lindsley coming through with an RBI single. Time to underhand it to first, and that's the final out of the ball game. Harbor Hawks put up 4 in the top of the 9th, but too little, just a little bit too late, as the Gatemen win 10-6 and now move their lead to 4 points over the Harbor Hawks in the Western Division.
We bring you back into the Hyannis Harbor Hawks pregame show. Those were the highlights from last night. Chris Lucey along with myself on the call, as well as a special appearance from David Mandelberg, our scout liaison, and Brady Vernon, our team writer and photographer, making their debuts on the mics this summer. Getting a little half inning, having some fun, talking about a variety of things, to say the least. But another thing you probably heard on the highlights was the 4th hit of the night for Brady Lindsley, the Oklahoma catcher and first baseman, a 4-for-4 night along with a walk. He has been really heating up as of late and comes through with his first 3+ hit game of the season. Trevor Hoover also picking up 3 hits of his own after coming in for Matthew Barefoot. So 7 of the team's hits coming from those two, the Sun Devil in Hoover and the Oklahoma Sooner in Lindsley. Those two caught up with Dani Terzer earlier today to talk about their big nights last night.
for 7 of the team's 11 hits in last night's game against Wareham, but a little bit of struggle before that against starting pitcher Zach Hart for Wareham. What did you see from your team that was having so much trouble against him?
I think a guy like that just throws a lot of balls, but he's kind of effectively wild. He'd walk a guy on 4 straight and then fill the next guy up. So, I mean, that can be difficult, just seeing the right pitch to hit.
A 6-run surge for your team in the 8th and 9th innings, but we've talked about contagious hitting a lot of times this season. How does that affect you at the plate when you see your teammates doing well?
It's something Coach Polk teaches. I mean, whenever we see our team battling back and getting lots of hits in a row, I mean, we love it, and we just want to keep going up. It gives us a lot more confidence at the plate, and we're just ready to get there and hit.
A few injuries now and some roster changes as well, but you've been here from the start, same as Brady as well. So what are you hoping to play as a role in this playoffs?
Just stay strong and stay confident. These guys coming in are going to help us wherever we need. I know a lot of us are injured or tired or just want to go home or something like that, but we need to stay here and stay strong and have them help us out.
And Brady, what are you hoping to make out of your playoff experience?
Yeah, pretty much, the same thing. Just keep grinding. It's tiring at this point, but you made it this far. Might as well finish it out.
Thank you. Thanks, Trevor.
Yeah.
Dani, thank you very much. Those two both back in the lineup in tonight's ball game. Trevor Hauver doing the designated hitting. Brady Lindsley doing the catching for the Harbor Hawks. First pitch just under 15 minutes away here at McKeon Park. Quickly, we'll take you through the lineups for each team. First, for the visiting Orleans Firebirds, their classic back-to-back combo of the Vanderbilt Commodores getting things started at their top of the order. Pat DeMarco leading off and playing left. J.J. Blade following him playing right field. Spencer Steer in the number 3 spot out of Oregon. Bill Clark cleaning up the duties and doing the designated hitting. Jax Groshans in the number 5 spot, the first baseman, followed by the catcher and James Free hitting 6th. Sun Devil Carter Aldretti hitting 7th, playing second base. He split time between the infield and outfield this summer. Matt Frazier from the University of Arizona hitting 8th and playing center field, and rounding out the 9, the shortstop in Andrew Martinez. And now for your Hyannis Harbor Hawks, Tommy Jew leading off, playing center field out of UC Santa Barbara, followed by Hauver, once again doing the designated hitting. Davis Wenzel hitting 3rd and playing shortstop. Pedro Pages in the number 4 spot, playing first base for back-to-back nights. Seth Gray hitting 5th and playing third base. Todd Lott back in right field and in the number 6 spot for Hyannis. And the final third of the order, Eric Rivera hitting 7th out in center. Brady Lindsley in the number 8 spot doing the catching, and rounding out the 9, Samford, second baseman, in Taylor Garris. The pitchers for tonight for the Hyannis Harbor Hawks, it'll be the right-hander in Houston Roth out of Ole Miss. The Rebel in Roth set to make his 8th appearance on the season, all of them being starts. Up to this point, 28 innings pitched, 5.14 ERA, has struck out 26 and walked 11. For the Orleans Firebirds, they're going to counter with Josh Hendrickson. Josh Hendrickson plays his college ball at the University of San Diego. Roth versus Hendrickson tonight, and the numbers on Hendrickson this season in the Torero from San Diego: 25 innings pitched, a 4.32 ERA, 22 strikeouts, 7 walks. He'll be making his 10th appearance this summer and just his 3rd start. Hendrickson hails from Australia, Whitby, Australia to be exact, and in his last outing, he got knocked up a little bit. 2/3 innings pitched against the Katuitt Kettleers, 3 earned runs on 6 hits. Didn't strike anybody out, but didn't walk anybody. He looks to avenge that today here just 3 days later at McKeon Park against the Harbor Hawks. Hyannis sitting with a 13-6 home record, sitting at 3rd place in the Western Conference and looking to move their way back up to gain home field advantage in the postseason. Hyannis will have 3 games after the conclusion of tonight's ball game. This was originally scheduled to be an off day for the Harbor Hawks, but rain the other night pushed this game back to here on July the 30th. But after the conclusion of tonight, they'll stay at home tomorrow against the Bourne Braves for the final time and then have a home-and-home with the YD Red Sox. They go to Red Wilson Field on Wednesday and play at home on Thursday to wrap up the regular season. For Orleans, they'll also have 3 more games after the conclusion of tonight, and the Firebirds still in search of that last playoff spot, sitting just 1 point behind the Brewster Whitecaps. After tonight's contest, they'll play the YD Red Sox at home before heading out to Veterans Field to play Chatham and then one more time against the Anglers out at Eldridge Park, a home-and-home with the second-place Chatham A's. Harbor Hawks and Firebirds set to go in just under 10 minutes. That'll just about wrap up the pregame show, but to quickly take you around the rest of the league, not much else to report as there's only one other game going on today, and that's out at Lowell Park in an interdivision matchup between the Brewster Whitecaps and the Cotuit Kettleers. Orleans Firebirds fans have to be rejoicing when doing some scoreboard watching today as Cotuit is up 4-0 in the top of the fourth. Orleans, on the other hand, looks to counter that and try to pick up win number 14 of their summer here on the road, which would be just their 6th road win of the summer. 10 minutes away from Firebirds Harbor Hawks, Josh Hendrickson versus Houston Roth coming up in just under 10 minutes, and that'll about wrap up the pregame show here. You can catch me in the 4th inning for your very quick around the league update today, as well as a post-game show after the game, and Hawk Talk, our video wrap-up, which you can catch on our YouTube page. We thank you so much for tuning into the pregame show, and stay tuned as in just about 10 minutes, Chris Lucey and Robert Marcello will have all the action for you here. First pitch slated for 6 p.m. Harbor Hawks and Firebirds when we come back on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. 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 Time for lineups and first pitch on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Welcome everyone to McKeon Park here in Hyannis, Massachusetts. I'm Robert Marcello along with Chris Lucey, and a game this evening that has a lot of implications, not only for the Harbor Hawks, but especially for the Orleans Firebirds, vying for that fourth spot in the Eastern Division. Chris, on the mound today for the Harbor Hawks is Houston Roth. What do you expect to see from him?
Well, from Houston, I think what he hopes to see from himself is to actually get a decision. He's been on the Harbor Hawks for the entire season. He started 7 games for Hyannis, and he still has yet to pick up a decision. He's 0-0 on his record this season, and another thing I think he's looking for out of himself, and the Harbor Hawks are looking for as well, is some length. The bullpen has been used a great deal over the last couple of games. Almost 10 pitchers coming out of the pen for the Harbor Hawks over the last 2 games. So Hyannis needs length out of him, and the Orleans Firebirds are a ball club that really hasn't been on the up and up the last couple of games. It's been a tough stretch, so if you can take advantage of a team that's a bit down on itself, I think Houston Roth will go a long way for the Harbor Hawks, especially going into postseason play where every fresh arm is worth its weight in gold.
It sure is. Going to quickly go around the infield for the Harbor Hawks this evening. Behind the plate is Brady Lindsley. Over at first is Pedro Pages. Over at second is Taylor Garris. Over at short is Davis Monzel. Over at third is Seth Gray. Out in left field is Eric Rivera. Out in center field is usual Tommy Jew, making some spectacular plays out in center field. And out in the right field is Todd Lott. First pitch about to get ready to go. Pat DeMarco to lead things off. He's the left fielder today for the Orleans Firebirds. With the cloudy sky here already in Hyannis and most of Cape Cod, the lights have already been turned on. And the first pitch. That is a ball low in this late July matchup. Big implications, as I said at the start of the broadcast, and the Orleans Firebirds definitely feeling the pressure this evening. And the 1-0 pitch. That is in for a strikeout, even at 1-1.
And DeMarco, the leadoff hitter for the Firebirds for most of the season, leads the team with 165 at-bats, batting .258 with 40 hits on the season. Also stolen 9 bags.
And the next pitch from Roth is in the dirt for a ball. Count now at 2-1. And the next pitch from Houston Roth is in low for a ball. Working the count is Pat DeMarco, the leadoff man for the Orleans Firebirds. And the pitch in from Roth. That is fouled off. Will land right in the netting, just right before us in the broadcasting booth, as we could call here at McKeon Park. And the 3-2 pitch from Houston Roth. That is in the dirt, and a leadoff walk for the Orleans Firebirds has them in business early here on the road.
And that's just not really what you want to see whatsoever out of Houston Roth, starting off the game with a walk like that. He's walked 11 batters in his 28 innings on the summer, so not a guy that'll really stray outside of the zone. He wants to pound the zone and keep the ball down a little bit, and he's elevating early on, so he needs to kind of start moving his way more towards home plate. and getting on top of the baseball.
J.J. Blade now up. And the first pitch into Blade is in for a strike. Blade today is the right fielder. After him will be Spencer Steer, and then after Steer is Phil Clark. Taking lead off of first is DeMarco, being covered by Pedro Pedros at first. And the next pitch is outside for a ball. Roth struggling with his command early this evening. The Harbor Hawks trying to get out of this little funk they've been on, Chris, for about the past week.
They're 4-5-1 in their last couple of games, and Houston Roth just needs to start getting the ball down.
And the next off-speed pitch is high for a ball.
Especially against a guy at the plate right now in J.J. Blade. 295 batting average in 132 games, in 132 at-bats this season, 32 games played, 39 hits, only 17 strikeouts. He's not going to chase at anything.
Still off at first is DeMarco. Throws back to first. We'll get past Pedro Pages, but the runner in DeMarco does not advance to try to go down to second. An interesting sequence of events here early already in this game. A leadoff walk and then an almost passed ball over at first base. And the pitch from Roth. That catches the outside part of the plate for a strike. The infield for the Harbor Hawks playing at double play depth. Brennan Dutz a ground ball trying to get 2 quick outs here. And the pitch. That is sent right down the right field line. That will get down. Running to third is DeMarco. Being held up over at first is Blade. And now there's runners at the corners with nobody out in the top of the first.
Pat DeMarco with a great jump on the baseball right there, able to go from first to third. That's what you want in a leadoff hitter, somebody that can set the table and then also advance on the paths quickly. And DeMarco doing just that on a nice little piece from Blade. Roth was finally able to get one down, but he just left it over the outer corner of the plate, and the right fielder out of Vandy made him pay.
Spencer Steer now up. Runners at the corners, nobody out. Orleans Firebirds on an early surge here this evening. That off-speed pitch right down the plate from Houston Roth for a strike.
Spencer Steer, one of 2 guys on this Firebirds ball club you definitely don't want at the plate with runners in scoring position.
And the pitch to Blade. That is sent high out to left center field. On to catch it. Those Eric Rivera, and he is unable to do so. It lands right in front of him, throws to third base, but Wenzel will cut it off. In an early 1-0 lead for the Orleans Firebirds here on the road.
And exactly as I was saying, Spencer Steer coming into this game, batting .303, leads the team with 38 games played, 122 at-bats. That's his 38th hit of the season, pulling him just 2 hits shy of the team lead, Pat DeMarco, leading things with 40 on the campaign.
Phil Clark now up the DH. Runners at the corner still with nobody out. 1-0 Orleans. That first pitch is fouled off pretty much right back at us, but we have a netting behind home plate protecting us. A small crowd here on hand at McKeon Park. Kind of a overcast, cloudy day. Next off-speed pitch is outside for a ball, but no chance of rain. And finally, Chris, we have a couple of days of just kind of calm weather.
No, absolutely. After a torching hot summer this year, things finally cooling down around the tail end, believe it or not.
And the next pitch, swing and a miss at that low changeup by Clark, not being able to catch up to it in time. Runner still at the corners, nobody out. It is 1-0 Orleans already. Trying to fight back in that 4th playoff spot that they lost just a night ago. The next pitch is in the dirt for a ball. The Harbor Hawks still in second place, but not that far ahead of the Falmouth Commodores.
In fact, they're tied with the Falmouth Ball Club at 45 points apiece.
And the next pitch, swing and a miss. For the first strikeout of the day for Houston Roth, he's able to record the first out.
And a big first out indeed right there, Rob. A nice swing and strike. Didn't throw it for a strike. It dipped way out of the zone. That changeup completely fooling Philip Clark. And now Houston Roth can start anew here. Philip Clark, you can consider almost a new leadoff hitter in that he's the first out you get, and things advance from here. Now Jack Groshans coming to the plate.
Jack Groshans is up. That first pitch is in low for a ball. Steps back in the box is Groshans now, trying to get back in the field of play. And the next pitch from Roth is a swing and a miss. At that off-speed pitch, not many Orleans Firebirds being able to get a hold of that ball so far today.
No, and Houston Roth is starting to figure that out too. Struggled early on here, but since is settling in, getting that strikeout, and then drawing a swing and a miss from Groshans.
Time is called.
And Jax is having a good season too. 275 batting average and 69 at-bats. It's a nice campaign for him.
Sure is. Next pitch, swing and a miss at that off-speed pitch once again. Unable to catch up to it. The infield for the Harbor Hawks still in double play depth. Runners at the corners with one out. Going off at first is Spencer Steer, and he'll be safe, but the runner at third, Overland Bidet, doesn't even think about going home.
And that's why you saw that little double clutch right there from Brady Lindsley. Got up in enough time to throw out the runner at second base, but he had to look back Steer over at third. Or he had to look back Bidet over at third, Steer taking off and swiping second after getting on with an RBI single. So smart play right there from Brady Lindsley.
After Groshans, James Free will be up. And the pitch, swing and a miss. Strike three, back-to-back strikeouts from Houston Roth. Now two gone.
And it looks like the Rebel has turned a corner here after surrendering an earned run early on. Just able to get those two strikeouts, swinging on his breaking stuff. I think that was actually a changeup that had some very nice body to it over the outer half of the plate, fooling Jax Groshans. And now James Free comes up with a little bit of an opportunity on his hands, but also a tight situation with two outs.
And the first pitch into Free is an off-speed pitch in for a strike. Throwing a lot of off-speed stuff is Houston Roth, kept trying to get a ground ball, trying to get out of this inning. And the next off-speed pitch is outside for a ball in low. And the next pitch from Roth is outside for a ball. Roth trying to get his command back together, trying to just keep this at a one-run game.
Well, he can go right after James Free. It's been a tough season for him at the plate. 81 at-bats. He's batting below the Mendoza line at 173, only able to scrape together 14 hits while amassing 23 strikeouts. So this is a guy for Houston Roth that you really have to attack, pound the zone.
You sure do here. Man at second and third with two outs. And the pitch from Roth. That is in for a strike low. Runners at second and third taking small leads, but neither of them are being covered. And the pitch. That is sent high up in the air. Appears Houston Roth's going to have it, but Seth Gray comes over and catches it, but he drops the ball. In a bad situation for the Harbor Hawks here early. I think it was going to be an easy routine out. It is now 3-0 Orleans.
It looks like the pitcher's mound might have thrown Seth Gray off as he comes over to make the play. He has to kind of climb to the top of the mound. He lost his balance there. The ball just kicks off the heel of his glove, and that's an unlucky break right there for Seth Gray. It's been a tough couple of days for him, and now both he and the Harbor Hawks collectively have to get their heads screwed back on right and just get this last out.
Now up is Carter Aldrelli. First pitch, call the strike. Catches the outside part of the plate. Over at first is James Free. Houston Roth got out of the way of the ball, and then Seth Gray tried to come on to catch it for the third out. The incline of the mound definitely could have had a factor. That next pitch in the same exact spot for a strike. Carter Aldrelli on the season is batting .270. Goes to Arizona State. And the pitch. That is outside for a ball. Trying to frame it back in the zone was Lindsley. But the home plate umpire did not offer. Still over at first is Free, being covered by Pedro Pages. And the next pitch is swinging a miss. Strike three, and Houston Roth able to get 3 strikeouts, all resulting outs, and that's going to do it here from McKean Park in the top of the first. The Harbor Hawks will be up for the first time today, but they are down 3-0. We'll be right back here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright. In combination with the Hyannis Harbor Hawks and Ocean Street Studios comes a brand new show bringing you everything Harbor Hawk. This is Birds the Word, a comprehensive new way to engage with your favorite summer ball team. I'm your host, Harrison Myers, and every Thursday until the end of the 2018 Cape League season, we'll bring you everything Harbor Hawk. Interviews with players and coaches, behind-the-scenes tours, and stories you may not have heard about. Make sure you subscribe today so you don't miss any of the action.
Thank you, Harrison. Back here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. To lead things off today for the Harbor Hawks is Tommy Jew. On the mound for the Orleans Firebirds is Josh Hendrickson. And the pitch. That is called a strike. Quickly down the count, 0-1 is Tommy Jew, the leadoff man. After him will be Trevor Hoover and then Davis Wenzel. And the pitch. Swing and a miss at that off-speed curveball there. Tommy Jew way in front of that one.
Yeah, and Hendrickson having himself a nice season out here on the Cape. 2-0 record, 4.35 ERA in 9 games. This his third start.
And the next pitch, that is a ball in the dirt. Stopped, though, by the catcher and Free. Over at first is Groshans. Over at second is Aldrelli. Over at shortstop is Martinez. Over at third is Steer. On left field is DeMarco. Out in center field is Frazier. And around up the defensive nine, Blades out in right field. That last pitch was sent foul right near the Harbor Hawks bullpen.
Yeah, and just finishing up the stats on Hendrickson, he's struck out 22 and 25 innings pitched.
And that next pitch is outside for a ball. And the pitch. That is strike 3 called there. Tommy Jew doesn't like that pitch. And the first K today for Hendrickson is for the first out of his performance.
Yeah, it's been an up and down couple of days for Tommy Jew. I mean, he follows up a 7-game hitting streak with a 2-game hitless streak coming into today. So he just kind of has to find the magic that he had earlier in the week that had him really boosting his average after a tough season at the plate overall.
Trevor Hauver up. First pitch is in for a ball. And the next pitch into Hauver is called the strike inside. The Orleans Firebirds today in their road red jerseys, while the Harbor Hawks are in their home whites with the orange sleeves. And the pitch, a sweeping off-speed pitch in for a strike right down the heart of the plate. Hauver on the season is batting .298, just below the 300 mark. Next pitch, strike 3 called. Got him looking. Back-to-back strikeouts looking for Hendrickson early in this game.
And now Chad Gassman is coming towards home plate umpire Brian Troop. Ooh.
Davis Wenzel now up. 2 quick outs. Chad Gassman saying his piece now. He'll go back to third base. Chad Gassman fiery early here this evening.
Well, I mean, you're not out this far ahead of the rest of the competition in your division this late in the season if you're not trying to win ball games every single day. And that's Chad Gassman's MO.
Davis Wenzel is up. 2 quick outs in the bottom of the first. That next pitch is sent high in the air out to center field, just at the wall, but will be caught by Frazier for the third out. The Harbor Hawks go 1, 2, 3. A little frustrated here at McKeon Park. Quickly down 3-0. The Firebirds will be up in the top of the second inning. We'll be right back here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
Welcome back to start the top of the second inning. To lead things off is Matt Frazier, the 8th man in the order. 7 guys came around to bat in the top of the first inning. That first pitch from Roth is sent down the line and will just be foul. Right near the Harbor Hawks bullpen. Crowd starting to file in here at McKeon Park after kind of a slow first inning. That next pitch is fouled off right into the trees, just past the Harbor Hawks bullpen. And the pitch from Roth. That is a swing and a miss. Strike 3. And the 4th strikeout on the day for Roth early. Here with 1 out in the top of the 2nd.
And that pitch was at eye level for Frazier, just completely fooled, trying to catch up to a fastball, soft fastball, and didn't even consider the fact that it was at his eyelids almost.
Now up is Andrew Martinez, the 9th man in the order. And the pitch. That is high for a ball. He's the shortstop today. And the 1-0 pitch from Houston Roth. That is a swing and a miss, that off-speed pitch. Roth's pitched 28 innings so far this year with a 5.14 ERA with 26 strikeouts. Already have 4 strikeouts today. And the pitch from Roth, that is inside, almost hits Martinez, but just has to back out of the way. The infield and outfield for the Harbor Hawks playing at regular depth. 1 out in the top of the 2nd. 3-0 Orleans. And the pitch. That is called a strike in low. Houston Roth's whole jersey comes unbuttoned, but he'll button it back up. Don't usually see that, but I think because of the wind, maybe it had a factor.
Yeah, we see a lot of guys on this Harbor Hawks ball club almost buttoning their jerseys all the way down on the mound.
And the pitch. That is a ground ball that will just go foul right past Seth Gray and the third base umpire and the third base coach of the Orleans Firebirds. Unfortunately, didn't try to make a play on it, though. And the next pitch from Roth. That is in strike 3. Got him looking. 5 strikeouts. Now early here, 2 gone in the top of the 2nd.
Well, after 3 runs in the top of the 1st, only 1 of them earned. Houston Roth had it up to here with the Orleans Firebirds getting after him. And since he has really put the changeup pretty much anywhere he's wanted to and frozen up a good deal of them.
Now up the top of the order is Pat DeMarco. And the pitch. That is in low for a ball. First time he was up, he walked. So he doesn't have a recorded at bat on the day. And the pitch. That is in low outside for a ball. And the pitch. That is in low for a ball. Looked like it was going to hit Pat DeMarco, but curbs back in the zone. That's called a ball. And the pitch. That is called a strike in low. Houston Roth, much better, much quicker than in the first inning, kind of taking his time. He's definitely hurrying up here in the 2nd. Hurrying, being down by 3 runs. And the pitch from Roth. Swing and a miss. There at that high fastball. Now down 2 strikes in the count.
Sometimes guys will overthink it if they take too long, but you also don't want to be too brief either.
And the pitch from Roth and DeMarco. That is sent foul just past the Orleans Firebirds bullpen and on Old Colony Road.
I mean, Coach Korn talks about this often with the guys out here. When they get flustered, they speed up, and speeding up just leads to a bit of wackiness with your mechanics.
And the pitch. That is fouled off right back of the netting. Once he throws the ball back to Roth.
I mean, the good thing with Houston, though, the faster you go, it's almost a bit better. He thinks about it less. He's able to get on top of the baseball better, and his mechanics are so easily repeatable that it doesn't really seem to cause too much motion with him.
And the pitch. That is in low, ball 4. That'll be another walk there. Houston Roth didn't like where that was called by the home plate umpire. Felt like that could have been strike 3. J.J. Blade back up. He is 1 for 1 on the day, though. He got a base hit. Came around all the way to score. And the pitch. That is sent right into the gap into right center field. That runner from first is going to go all the way to third. Stopped by Terzer Garris, goes off his glove, but Wenzel quickly able to pick it up. 2 guys on with 2 outs. Looked like that Roth was going to be able to get out of this inning. Clean saved, but not so fast. The Firebirds are coming here in the second.
Absolutely, and J.J. Blade had seen that one too. Had seen that one before, too. Elevated, left over the plate, just like the seeing eye single he had in the top of the first. Essentially, just had to repeat what he did earlier, and now same situation once again. Runners on the corners off of his bat.
Spencer Steer now up. Also had a base hit the last time he was up. Also came around to score. At first, fastball high is called for a strike. The infield for the Harbor Hawks playing at double play depth. Seth Gray playing just a little in. Pagers covering the man over at first. And the pitch. That outside pitch is called the ball. Steer on the air is batting .303. That is in for a strike. Runners at the corners, 2 out. 3-0 Orleans. They're trying to widen their lead. Trying to get 2 points, trying to keep themselves in the playoff race while the Harbor Hawks are battling for second and third place. That is sent out to low center field. On it for Tommy Jew, and he drops it. And a run comes home. It is now 4-0. Firebirds here in a not so good start for the Harbor Hawks, Chris.
No, absolutely not. Houston Roth just getting up there with his pitch count as well. He's not even through 2 innings yet, and he's at 52 pitches at the moment right now. So he has to just start getting the ball down a little bit more, hitting his targets with Brady Lindsley, and get back to what got him off to a great start in this inning. He struck out the first 2 batters he faced in the top of the second.
Now up is Phil Clark. Runner still at the corners, 2 outs, as that runner was able to come home. Of course, it was 2 outs, so the runner was going home. That first pitch is fouled off. Tommy Jew trying to make the miraculous play, but just coming a little up short as the ball came out of his glove. 2 outs, runners at the corners, 4-0 Orleans. And the pitch. That is sent just past the shortstop and Wenzel. Another run comes home. It is now 5-0. Here runners at first and second.
And here's where the Harbor Hawks really just have to stop the Firebirds from piling things up too early. I mean, the Harbor Hawks are a team that really thrives off getting good starts in ball games, and this certainly is not a start that the Harbor Hawks can really hang their hats on.
Jack Roshan's now up. Last time he was up, he struck out. He was the second out in the top of the first inning. Houston Roth already on this early evening, 5 strikeouts. No action, though, in the Harbor Hawks bullpen. And the pitch. That is in low for a ball. Runners at first and second. And the pitch from Roth is swinging and missed. That high fastball from Groshans. Couldn't catch up to it. Something the Firebirds have not been able to catch up on at all really today. That and the low curveball that dips right back down. And the pitch. That is swinging a miss. There by Groshans, now down in the count by 2 strikes. There, as I mentioned, Chris, the low changeup. There it is right there, and Groshans falls for it.
It's been the bread and butter of Houston Roth all game long. He really needs to just get back to it.
And the pitch. That is strike 3 called there. Groshans doesn't like that call. Says a couple of words to the umpire, but we'll go back to the dugout. The Harbor Hawks will be up in the bottom of the second. They're down 5-0. We'll be right back here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
You're listening to the Hyannis Harbor Hawks on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Now back to today's voice of the Hawks, Rob Marcello.
Welcome back here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Starting things off in the bottom of the second inning. Second time the Harbor Hawks are up is Pedro Pages. Still on the mound for the Firebirds is Hendrickson. And the pitch. That is right down the heart of the plate for a strike. Count quickly down 0-1 in Pedro Pages' favor. And the 0-1 pitch. That is in the same exact spot for a strike. Quickly down in the count 0-2 is Pedro Pages.
Trying to avoid strikeout number 32 on the year.
And the pitch. That is in low. Pedro Pages didn't think about swinging at that one. That was a sweeping off-speed pitch that went right into the ground.
Overall in season, Pedro's batting .246 and 118 at-bats. 29 hits so far.
And the 1-2 pitch. That is fouled off just off the top of Pedro Pages' bat. Just gets a piece of it. After Pedro Pages will be Seth Gray. Then after Seth Gray will be Todd Lott. And the pitch. That is fouled off just to the right of us here. Infield for the Orleans Firebirds playing at regular depth. And the 1-2 pitch to Pages. That is in the dirt as well. Trying to protect that 2-strike count, but Pages doesn't offer it that one. Counts even at 2-2. 5-0 Orleans if you're just joining us. And the 2-2 pitch. That is sent just past the right fielder and gets down. They're in a leadoff single for the Harbor Hawks, trying to cut down this lead. They're down 5-0 quickly as now Seth Gray will be up.
It all starts with the leadoff knock, and Pedro Pages really has been a tone setter for the Harbor Hawks all season long, both in the clubhouse and on the field as a first baseman and catcher. He has a lot of power with defensive alignments. Ron Polk has given him a lot of trust with that.
First pitch to Seth Gray is outside for a ball. Bobby Melly, the first base coach, former player for the Harbor Hawks and also is from this area. Next pitch is fouled off. Seth Gray trying to get on base, trying to get a little rally going for the Harbor Hawks. Next pitch is outside low for a ball. After Todd Lott will be Eric Rivera. Man over at first and Pages being covered by the first baseman. That next pitch is in low in the dirt, but a good stop by the catcher in James Free. Seth Gray on the season batting .247. Has 12 RBIs on the year, but no home runs. In the pitch. That is sent foul right behind us here at McKeon Park. The wind's blowing out in right center field. Not as much as it did at the start of the game. That pitch is grounded out to the second baseman. He's able to make an excellent play on it, being able to throw at first for the out in a great play there by Aldrelli.
I mean, tough for Seth Gray to see him drop down to an 0 for 17 like that. A great play by Aldrelli, but still a productive at-bat for Seth Gray. Although he hasn't really been seeing much of the base paths recently, he has been productive for the Harbor Hawks.
There is one out, but Seth Gray able to move that guy over in scoring position, and now Todd Lott up. Todd Lott, the right fielder today for the Harbor Hawks. Steps off the mound is Hendrickson. He has a 4.32 ERA in 25 innings with 22 strikeouts. Taking the lead off of second is Pages. That off-speed pitch is high for a ball to Todd Lott. Well, when he gets the pitch where he wants it, he hits it out of here. And against these Orleans Firebirds early in the season, we played 2 games there, and he definitely made them pay in both games. And the pitch. That is sent high out to left field. That will get down. That will go off the wall. Pedro Pages coming home. Todd Lott doesn't even have to slide in a one-out double. Now is the Harbor Hawks on the board. A great plate piece by Todd Lott.
And an RBI piece for Todd Lott as well. Desperately needed for Hyannis after getting down by 5 runs early. They at least can begin to chip away from that nice piece.
Eric Rivera now up 1 out man at second base, and Todd Lott, and that pitch was right down the third base line and then landed just right before the warning track and then hit the wall and gave plenty of time for Pedro Pages to score. First pitch into Rivera is high for a ball. Harbor Hawks usually in games in this past month stretch have really been able to score first and be able to keep it, but the past 5 or 6 games they've gotten down by big margins. And the pitch into Rivera. That is fouled off right off the catcher's mitt. Throws the catcher back to the pitcher, and we'll resume it here from McKeon Park. Brady Lindsley in the on-deck circle. 5-1 Orleans. In a late season matchup here at McKeon Park. Orleans trying to get back in that 4th spot in the Eastern Division, and the Harbor Hawks trying to keep on to second place, trying to host the first round matchup. And the outside pitch for a ball. You said, Chris, the Harbor Hawks and the Commodores both tied for second place. Mathematically right now, Chris, wouldn't Falmouth be in the lead because they won the season series against us?
Mathematically, yes, but as far as points are concerned right now, we don't really have to get into tiebreakers until the season ends.
Okay. That's fair. Still over at second is Todd Lott. And the pitch. That is ball 4. Now 2 guys will get on. 1 out in the bottom of the second. It is 5-1 Orleans.
And going back to what you were saying, Rob, it is a tough road for the Harbor Hawks the rest of the year. I mean, after a game tomorrow against the Bourne Braves, the already eliminated Bourne Braves, Hyannis has to face the Yarmouth Dennis Red Sox, who are just head and shoulders above the rest of the league at 55 points on the campaign. We have a home-and-home series with them coming up. That's not going to be an easy 2-game stretch for this ball club.
Brady Lindsley now up. And the pitch. That is high for a ball. The infield for the Firebirds playing a double play depth. First baseman playing way off of first, not even covering Eric Rivera. A potential double steal on here for the Harbor Hawks. And the pitch. That is sent foul and will land right near the Osprey nest beyond left field here at McKeon Park. Harbor Hawks trying to cut and down to this 4-run deficit as they are down by 5 runs to start the bottom of the second, but were able to get a run from a RBI double from Todd Lott. And the next pitch into Brady Lindsley is fouled off. Right behind us, and will hit a car.
Well, that's why I park over on the grassy knoll in front of St. John Paul High School, rather than right behind the ballpark. You never want it to be
Definitely
you.
a smart decision. And the pitch. That is swing and a miss for strike 3. Now 2 gone in the bottom of the second. Here now with the 9th man up in the order, Taylor Garris trying to get a couple of RBIs here with a hit.
Taylor Garris looking to finally get his bat on a roll after a long season at the plate here for the Hyannis Harbor Hawks, batting 163 in 49 at-bats. He's only been able to amass 8 hits.
And the first pitch into Garris is in for a strike. Infield for the Firebirds, no longer playing a double play depth as the shortstop back in his regular position. But the second baseman is kind of shaded over towards the middle of the field. And the pitch is right down the right field line, and that will go foul just past the first base umpire. Third base umpire in between the second base bag and the shortstop, but in the grass, though. Because last night we saw an umpire hit by a ball in Wareham.
First time for everything.
I believe that's the same guy that's out there. It's third base umpire tonight. And the pitch, that is sent right to the first baseman. He's on to catch it for the third out. But the Harbor Hawks on the scoreboard for the first time today. It is 5-1. Hyannis will be out defensively. Orleans will be batting in the top of the third. We'll be right back here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
Welcome back here in the top of the third. This is my solo inning, as Chris will have his in the 7th inning. James Free now up. 0 for 1 on the day. Last time he was up, he flew out. Houston Rothschild on the mound. And the first pitch to start the top of the third inning is in low outside for a ball. No action going on in either bullpen here at McKeon Park, as now late in the season. Not as many arms out there. And the pitch from Roth. That is sent high in the air. Seth Gray on to catch it, and he does for the first out. Had to fight off the lights for that play for the first out. Carter Altretti now up to bat. Last time he was up, he was a strikeout victim. A part of Roth's 5th strikeouts. He is responsible for one of them. And the pitch. That is a ground ball to Seth Gray, but will go foul. Houston Roth having a little trouble in the first and second. Let's see if maybe he can get out of this 1-2-3. Try to keep him in there for a couple of more innings. As he's definitely thrown a lot of pitches. And the pitch to Roth to Aldrelli is high up in the air. Brady Lindsley on to catch it, and he does. He falls down. Pedro Pages kind of has a little chuckle there for the second out in the top of the 3rd inning. Lindsley's all right, though. Matt Frazier now up the center fielder today. He's also a part of the 5 strikeout day for Houston Roth, as he was the 4th strikeout in the start of the top of the 2nd inning. He's the 8th man in the order. And the pitch, that is in low for a ball. A beautiful day here at baseball here in Hyannis. It's a little cloudy, but today was a pretty sunny day. And the next pitch is in low for a ball. Houston Roth's next pitch into Frazier is a ground ball to the second baseman, and Garris, he has it. He'll throw it on to first for the 3rd out. Houston Roth able to go 1-2-3, trying to keep this at a 4-run deficit. The Harbor Hawks will be up in the bottom of the 3rd. We'll be right back here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright.
Now up to start things off in the bottom of the 3rd will be Tommy Jew. After him will be Trevor Hauver. Tommy Jew, the last time he was up, he struck out. Hendrickson still on the mound for the Orleans Firebirds. Still my solo inning. Chris Lucey will join me back in the top of the 4th. And the first pitch in the bottom of the 3rd is in low, inside for a ball. After Trevor Hauver will be Davis Wenzel. And the 1-0 pitch, that is inside for a ball. Count now at 2-0. Tommy Jew. Some action happening out in the Harbor Hawks bullpen. No action, though, happening in the Orleans bullpen as they're up by 4 runs. And the next pitch is outside for a ball. Count now at 3-0. Leadoff man got on in the bottom of the 2nd, and that's how the Harbor Hawks were able to score a run. That is ball 4 and a leadoff walk for the Harbor Hawks to get things going, trying to cut down this 4-run deficit. Trevor Hauver now up to bat. Trevor Hauver from Arizona State. The man in the leadoff circle. Davis Wenzel goes to Baylor. That first pitch in low inside for a ball. Trevor bats from the left side of the plate. Not many guys from the Harbor Hawks bat from the left side besides him and Seth Gray. And the pitch. That is outside for a ball. A right-heavy lineup for the Harbor Hawks for sure. So when they see a lefty, it gets interesting. Taking a small lead off of first is Tommy Jew. Making a small conversation with the first baseman in Groshans. A pretty quiet crowd here today in McKeon Park. Trying to get the home crowd back in this game. And the pitch. That is sent right down the first base line, and that will be foul. Lands right near the relief pitcher for the Harbor Hawks getting warmed up. Going back to first is Tommy Jew. Was almost halfway through second base and third base by the time it went down with Tommy Jew's speed. And the pitch. That is inside. A sweeping off-speed pitch almost hits Trevor Hauver, but tails back into the zone. And the 0 pitch. That is ball 4, back-to-back walks. The Harbor Hawks in business here in the bottom of the third. Davis Wenzel's now going to be up. The pitching coach for the Orleans Firebirds now to come on to talk to his pitcher. Action now starting out in the Orleans Firebirds bullpen. After Wenzel will be Pedro Pages. Mound visit right now quickly happening. The home plate umpire about to go out there to relieve that conversation, trying to speed this game up. It is 6:55. Here in Hyannis, Massachusetts, in Eastern Time. Home plate umpire has to go out there and stop the conversation. Now everyone's going to go back to their respective positions, and we're going to restart play. Davis Wenzel now up. The Baylor Bear. 5-1 Orleans if you're just joining us. And the pitch. That first pitch is in for a strike low to Davis Wenzel. Runners at first and second. Nobody out in the bottom of the third. Harbor Hawks trying to cut down to this 4-run deficit. And that next off-speed pitch, outside low, call for a strike, just catches the edge of the plate. Action quickly happening out in the Orleans Firebirds bullpen. And the next pitch into Wenzel. That is right out to the right fielder, and that will get down. The bases now will be loaded. Nobody out, the Harbor Hawks. Starting with their own rally here in the bottom of the third. Pedro Pages is now going to be up. And a big spot here for the Harbor Hawks trying to cut down this lead. The whole defense for the Orleans Firebirds playing at double play depth. Third baseman, though, is off, though right near is not anywhere near the grass. And the first pitch to Wenzel is fouled off, but will stay out of play. That's a foul ball. In the on-deck circle is Seth Gray. Pedro Pedro's in a big spot. Here in the bottom of the third bases are loaded. And the pitch. That is sent foul. Page on the season batting .245, 3 home runs and 15 RBIs. He is 29 for 118 on the year. And the pitch into Pages. That'll be a ground ball to the third baseman. He has it, throws it on to second, throws it on to first, and will not be in time. The run does score, though, on a fielder's choice for Pedro Pages, so he'll be able to get the RBI. It is now 5-2, runners at the corners with 1 out. Seth Gray now up. Has another opportunity to get an RBI here if he's able to get a ground ball or be able to get it past the infield. And the pitch. That is in the dirt, but a good stop. Though by free. Not allowing any runners to advance. Hover and Pages not being covered. And the pitch into Gray, that is called a strike. Inside low there, just catches the bottom part of the plate. And the next pitch, that is high for a ball. Right around Seth Gray's hands. Has to move them out of the way. Runners at the corners, 1 out, 5-2 Orleans. And the pitch into Seth Gray is sent high out to right field. On to catch it is the center fielder, though, and Frazier, the runner, does come home. And he'll be safe. It is now 5-3, a sacrifice fly for Seth Gray for his 13th RBI here in 2018. Todd Lott's now up. Pedro Pages had to stay over at first, though. But the Harbor Hawks now only down by 2 runs, making this game much closer. Pedro Pages now being covered over at first, but the first baseman backs off. And the first pitch into Todd Lott is sent foul. Hendrickson still on the mound for the Firebirds. Has pitched 2 2/3 innings here today. And the pitch. That is outside, fastball for a ball. Count even at 1-1. Man over at first, and Pedro Pages not being covered. It's 5-2. Eric Rivera's in the on-deck circle. And the pitch. That is in low for a strike. Todd Lott shakes his head at that one. Readjusts his batting gloves and will step back in the batter's box. And the pitch, way outside for a ball. Looks like about where the second pitch of this at-bat was. Action still going on in the Firebirds bullpen, but no action in the Harbor Hawks bullpen as the reliever might be ready to go. That next hanging breaking ball gets down in left field. Now there will be 2 runners on with Eric Rivera now up. Leaving as the duties as the manager, a new pitcher will come on for the Orleans Firebirds. We're going to allow him to get warmed up, though. It is 5-3 here in Hyannis. We'll be right back here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
Carlisle Kessler on the mound for the Firebirds in relief. That'll be the day for Hendrickson. Pitched 2 2/3 innings. Unable really to get anything done today. Runners at first and second, 2 outs to now Eric Rivera up. And the off-speed pitch just outside for a strike. If Rivera is able to get on Brady Lindsley, will be up. And the pitch. That is a ball just outside. Infield for the Firebirds playing at regular depth with 2 outs. And the pitch. That is called a strike there. Rivera has to give himself just a little break. Big spot here. Eric Rivera is able to get a hit. The Hawks could draw within 1. Stepping off the mound is Kressler. Just has to give himself a second to breathe, but he's back on the mound and ready to pitch again. And the pitch into Rivera. That is just dribbled right into right field. The runner stays there. The bases are now loaded. Now for Brady Lindsley being up, at first glance looked like that it was going to drop right down where the first baseman was, but instead gets past him. An outside pitch where Rivera just kind of just threw his bat out there and it was able to get a base hit. Brady Lindsley now up 0 for 1 on the day. He struck out in the bottom of the second inning. Bases are loaded, 2 out. 5-3 Orleans. And the pitch. That is in for a strike. Brady Lindsley up. And this next pitch. That is called a strike. Quickly down the count, 0-2. Brady Lindsley kicking around some dirt. Here doesn't like either of those calls. Counts 0-2. And the pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. The Orleans Firebirds still being able to get out of it with a 2-run lead. They'll be up in the top of the 4th. It's 5-3 Orleans. We'll be right back here on the Hyannis Harborhawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
To start things off in the top of the fourth inning, Andrew Martinez now up. Last time he was up, he struck out. Last strikeout so far today for Houston Roth, but let's see if he can be able to get one here after having a great third inning. Pitch in low for a ball. Chris Lucey joins me back in the booth. Hope you enjoyed your break, Chris.
Oh, absolutely.
And the next pitch, that isn't low for a ball.
It's like I'm a bad luck charm or something. The minute I hop off the mic, Hyannis really starts scoring bunches of runs.
Martinez on the year is batting 166, has 1 RBI, but only has 30 appearances up at the plate. An add-on for the Firebirds. And the next pitch from Roth is an off-speed pitch in for a strike. Bends his knees as Martinez. Wasn't expecting that pitch. And the pitch into Martinez. That is a rope that will get past the third baseman and the shortstop. And a leadoff single for the Firebirds. Now action getting up in the bullpen for the Harbor Hawks once again. Pat DeMarco, the leadoff man for the Firebirds, now up.
69 pitches on the game for Roth. The Harbor Hawks have to be careful with his arm right now if they want to keep him around for the playoffs.
Runner over at first, and Martinez being covered by Pedro Pages. The first pitch is outside for a strike. Pat DeMarco doesn't have really a bat recorded because both times he's walked. In the next pitch, that is in for a strike. Catches the outside part of the plate. A favorite spot today of this home plate umpire is he's been pretty consistent in that area. And the pitch into DeMarco from Roth, but first has to throw back to first. Doesn't even think about applying a tag as Pedro Pages. DeMarco in the air is batting .258, 2 home runs and 12 RBIs, 40 for 155. Throws back to first. On a tag by Pages, he's safe. Taking a lead off of first is Martinez. And the pitch from Houston Roth. That is outside for a ball. Man still over at first, taking a small lead though, but Roth concerned that he might try to steal base. Only a 2-run deficit for the Harbor Hawks. And the pitch, he goes. Now will be a hit and run situation that goes foul. The ball is by DeMarco, just catches the edge of the bat.
Pat flinging hands at that one, but just unable to get a big enough piece of it to send it on the ground and complete the hit and run.
And over at first now taking a bigger lead, but Pages still covering over at first. And the pitch. That is high outside for a ball. Lindsay quickly throws it back to Roth. He's able to compose himself. Infield for the Harbor Hawks playing at double play depth. Seth Gray playing back at the line while Pedro Pages covering the base over at first. And the pitch. He goes. That is sent out to center field. On to catch it is Tommy Jew. Going back to first is Martinez, as that was a hit and run situation. He was almost at second base, but did not tag the bag as he wasn't close.
Well, he knows better than to run on Tommy Jew's arm. He has a front row seat to it playing in the middle infield for the UCSB Gauchos. And Tommy Jew has shown himself time and time again to have one of the most live arms and also to be one of the rangiest center fielders in Cape Cod.
JJ Blade now up 2 for 2 in the day. 2 base hits. And the next pitch he goes. Throws down to second base. Not in time. A bad throw by Brady Lindsley. Good throw there. Potentially could have had him as a bad first step by Martinez there. Almost fell down on the way to try to get to second base.
Yeah, Brady's throw just a little bit offline, bringing Davis Wenzel off the bag. Bit of a missed opportunity there for Hyannis.
Blade's batting .295 on the year. 4 home runs, 12 RBIs, 39 for 132. After him will be Spencer Steer. And the pitch. That is sent high out to right field, but will go foul. Will land right near the last Orleans Firebirds relief pitcher sitting in the bullpen little seating area bench here at McKeon Park. And the next pitch. That is in low for a ball. They usually spot they'd call a strike. There calls a ball. Over at second is Martinez taking a bigger lead. Wenzel covering him. And the pitch. That is sent right out to right field, and that will be gone. Home run. In a 2-run shot by J.J. Blade. Now has this deficit to 4. Now it's at 7-3 here from McKeon Park.
Yeah, Houston Roth has just had a bit of time keeping his pitches down in the zone early on today, and there it comes back to bite him again.
Spencer Steer now up. He's 2 for 2 on the day. First time he was up, he came around the score, but the second time was held to first base. Houston Roth trying to regroup himself. It's now a 7-3 game. It's 7-16 here in Hyannis. And the first pitch. That is sent out to low right field. On to catch it is Todd Lott for the second out. In the top of the 4th. Now up Phil Clark. Clark on the day is 1 for 2. He struck out in the first, but had a base hit in the second inning, but was held to first just the same as Spencer Steer. Roth trying to get out of this 4th inning, only being down by 4 runs. And the pitch from Roth into Steer. That is outside for a ball. Count quickly in the Steer's favor, 1-0. And the 1-0 pitch. That is a ground ball that will go foul right near the Orleans Firebirds dugout. Will bounce all the way right where the Firebirds relief pitchers warm up in the bullpen. Action still going on in the Harbor Hawks bullpen. And the pitch. That is called a strike. Steer wearing the helmet extender to protect his cheek. I'd like to apologize. It's Phil Clark up at the plate. That is a ground ball to the first baseman in Pages. But we'll go foul. Infield for the Harbor Hawks playing at regular depth. Trying to protect this 4-0 deficit. Trying to get up. That next pitch is fouled off right near us, but we have some netting protecting us. Chris, if there was no netting protecting us, we'd probably get a lot of balls hit this way.
Probably a lot of broken laptops and black eyes, too. So I'll take the trade-off, I think.
Next pitch from Roth. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. And Houston Roth now on the day has 6 strikeouts. We'll see if he comes back out in the top of the 5th inning. The Harbor Hawks will be up in the bottom of the 4th. We'll be right back here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
Taylor Garris. Now to get things started in the bottom of the 4th inning, it is 7-3 Orleans. Blue Leaf pitcher still on the mound for the Firebirds. And the first pitch into Garris is in low for a ball. 7-3 score if you're just joining us here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. I'm Robert Marcello alongside Chris Lucey. And a quick pitch there by the pitcher, getting Garris a little flustered there. Wasn't expecting that. And the next pitch to Garris is a ground ball to the shortstop. And Martinez, he has it, throws it on to first for the first out in the bottom of the 4th.
It's been a tough season for Garris, just trying to catch up to the velocity that he's seen out here on Cape Cod. It's really unlike anything he'd seen previously out in Sanford, and it's a long process.
It sure is. Now that back at the top of the order is Tommy Jew. 0 for 1 on the day. And the pitch is outside for a ball. Tommy Jew tried to make a miraculous play early in this game, but just hit off the edge of his glove. Tommy Jew on the year batting .243. That next pitch is outside for a ball. After him will be Trevor Hauver. He's in the on-deck circle. More action going on in the Harbor Hawks bullpen. And the pitch. That is in low for a ball. And the pitch. That is in for a strike. Infield for the Firebirds playing at regular depth. 1 out in the bottom of the 4th. And the pitch. That is outside for a ball. Now it'll be ball 4. A 1-out walk for Tommy Jew. Second time today he's walked.
Patient day at the plate for Tommy Jew. I mean, again, coming in a little bit of a miniature skid, 2-game hitless streak, but still finding his way to the base paths, and having him out there on the paths is good for the Harbor Hawks because he can really whip around with that speed.
Trevor Hauver now up. Harbor Hawks down by 4 runs. Goes as Jew over it. First, he is down, and he is safe. Missing the tag was Martinez, as the throw down by Free was a little offline, very similar to what Lindley threw down to Davis Wenzel in the top of the 4th inning. And Tommy Jew will be safe. Another stolen base on the year.
Stolen base number 34 on the season for the Harbor Hawks. Coach Gassman does like to get aggressive on the base paths.
Next pitch from Hauver is outside for a ball. Harbor Hawks trying to cut down this 4-run deficit. as they are down 7-3. Wenzel is up after Hauver. And the pitch. That is called an outside strike. Tommy Jew taking a small lead off of second base. And the pitch. That is in low for a ball inside. Runner at second still. And the pitch. That is inside for a ball and back-to-back walks.
And a little bit of control issues starting up for Kessler here in this game. His catcher back out just to kind of show a little bit of support. He needs to get the ball down. I mean, we saw the same kind of ailment go for Houston Roth earlier in this game, just not coming down from the top of your motion on the mound. You leave things up, and you're either going to miss your spots and pay for it with giving up hits, or you're going to walk guys. And that's kind of what Kessler is going through right now.
Davis Wenzel now up, and the pitch. That is in for a strike right down the heart of the plate. Runners at first and second, one out in the bottom of the fourth. It is 7:24 Eastern time. And the pitch. That is a laser that will get down. And they say it is foul. And Chad Gasper now going to talk to the home plate umpire.
This is the second time these two have gotten into it this game. And the entirety of McKeon Park really letting this home plate umpire have it. Well, I mean, it comes up in a big spot for the Harbor Hawks with two men on base, and one of them being Tommy Jew, the other Trevor Hopper, who has a bit more speed than people give him credit for. One that's able to get down that line could have come in a really big spot for Hyannis, and both of those guys might have been able to get around to score.
Guy Gaspin gets thrown out of this game here as he's now letting the home plate umpire have it, as now the third base umpire has to walk him back to the dugout here. And Chad Gaspinal is throwing baseballs now out on the field here.
Well, that's one way to react to this, as he goes and grabs his briefcase, and there goes another one. Two more. That is a manager that doesn't want to go home either, although he's getting his hand forced here. A couple bat boys picking balls up in the infield now after a very, very colorful display from the Harbor Hawks manager, who is a player manager. That's one of the things that all the Harbor Hawks really love about him, is he goes to bat for them while they go to bat for the Hyannis team. And right there, you just see it, case in point. I see a smile-filled dugout down the third base line. All the ball players really liking the display and loving how much their coach really is behind them. And I'm sure bodes well for Davis Wenzel, too, after a close call down the left field line just doesn't go his way.
Definitely was close there. From our vantage point, it looked like it was fair, but home plate umpire didn't think so. And, of course, Chad Gaspin lets him know about it.
Brian Troop coming under attack here tonight.
And the pitch, he goes, throws down to third, and he is safe. Tommy Jew, a great job. Making a great jump, and now at third base. Hover over at first, though.
A little bit of a coaching change over at third now. Bobby Melly to third base. Dusty Delgado for the Harbor Hawks, moving over down the first base line to coach everybody up there. Got a little bit of experience coaching first base in Brewster as well, so not a position he's necessarily new to.
And Bobby Melly over at third. And the pitch into Wenzel is in for the right fielder and will be caught coming home, but has to stop is Tommy Jew, and a good choice there, as probably would have been thrown out at home. Wenzel flies out to right field.
Well, that's Davis just going to every single field, taking a big flare down the left field line that just doesn't go his way. He doesn't get the call, and then that shot over towards right. And if JJ Bleday didn't have such a great arm and didn't have to be brought in to get what was a shallow fly ball, you could have seen Hyannis throwing up its 4th run of the game.
Sure wasn't. Just looking at the screen that we have here, you guys didn't see Chad Gaston, but threw a couple of baseballs on the field, but you were able to see the baseballs. But the action of him picking it up and throwing out there, pretty interesting.
Just something you don't see anywhere else. You don't see that. That was a very colorful display again from Chad Gassman, who was not afraid to let everybody know how he felt tonight.
Shirted in the on-deck circle is Seth Gray. Harbor trying to cut down this 4-run deficit, trying to make this more of a game, as they will make it 5-3, but Orleans then responded with 2 runs. The next pitch is inside for a ball. And the pitch to Pages is outside for a ball. And the next pitch into Pedro Pages. That is in for a strike there. Pages. Didn't like that one there, as he felt like he could have gone a piece of that. Runners at the corners. And the pitch. That is a laser that will get past the second baseman. Run does come home. It is now 7-4 Orleans. The crowd's starting to get a little louder here at McKeon Park.
And that's 2 RBI on the game for Pedro Pages on that little knock. Tommy Jew just trotting home from third base easily, earning his way over to the hot corner with a couple of steals. And just a crazy inning for the Harbor Hawks. Finally able to get a run across, and it's been a laborious inning, too. We've been at it for a while here.
A new pitcher coming on for the Firebirds. We're going to allow him to get warmed up. It is 7-4 Orleans. We'll be right back here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
Welcome back. The new pitcher for the Firebirds is Justin Showalter. That means the day's done for their relief pitcher in Kosler. Man at first and second. Seth Gray is up. And the pitch, swing and a miss. By Seth Gray at that outside low changeup. And the pitch. That is in the dirt. Both runners at first and second, though. Taking pretty sizable leads.
Yeah, just to get to know Justin Showalter a little bit, comes in at 6'1", 175, plays his college baseball at James Madison University out in Virginia.
And the next pitch. That is sent out to center field. Potentially might get caught, and it does. A good catch by the shortstop and Martinez for the third out. Looks like that Frazier was going to be able to come on and catch it, but Martinez decides he's going to take it himself. After 4 innings, it is 7-4. Orleans, they'll be up in the top of the 5th. We'll be right back here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
Welcome in here to McKeon Park for the Around the League update. I'm Lyle Goldstein. And like we mentioned on the pregame show, only one other game going on outside of McKeon Park. Out in Cotuit, things have wrapped up after 2 hours and 22 minutes of play. Talk about a quick game between the Kettleers and Whitecaps, and Cotuit taking that one 9-2. So bad news for the Harbor Hawks and some good news for the Firebirds. Harbor Hawks now need to try to come back and win this game. If not, they will be tied with the Cotuit Kettleers in points, and Cotuit has the advantage over them as they've won 4 games compared to the 2 that Hyannis took over the Kettleers. So just one game so far today, 9-2 Cotuit, that one ending in 8 innings, as Cotuit now tied with Hyannis in total points in the Western Division. Brewster Whitecaps, meanwhile, still sit at 28. We'll take a quick break and bring you back to the call in just a second on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
The new pitcher on for the Harbor Hawks to start the 5th inning is Riley Self. It's his 21st birthday today. Happy birthday, Riley Self. Definitely a big birthday.
Oh, absolutely. 21, definitely a fun one. Won't be celebrating with family or friends, but celebrating with the game he loves.
First pitch outside for a ball.
Playing to celebrate for him this season. 2-1 record, 2.18 ERA in 7 games, 12 1/3 innings pitched. He's really shown some great stuff.
Jack Roshan's up to lead things off. He's pitched 12 1/3 inning. He has a 2.19 ERA. That next pitch in the dirt for a ball. He has 13 strikeouts, though. Roshan's on the years, batting .275. 3 home runs and 9 RBIs. 19 for 69. And the pitch. Ground ball right into the Harbor Hawks dugout. Doesn't hit anybody, though, as they're able to stop it. And the pitch. Swing and a miss. There by Groshans, but gets past Lindsley, but wasn't a 2-strike count, so Lindsley doesn't have to run over to get it. And the pitch. That is in strike 3, and the first strikeout of the day for Riley Self is on his first batter of the day to start the top of the 5th.
Promising sign for the Harbor Hawks there. I mean, what else do you expect from Riley Self? We went over his line at the beginning of the inning. He has been solid for Hyannis all season long, and he just sent Jack Groshans down swinging, made him look and feel a little foolish as well as you see him spike the bat at the end of that one too.
Now up is James Free. Pitch from South into Free is a sweeping slider. Comes in for a strike. A backdoor slider at that. Clouds starting to peel away here at McKeon Park. See some blue in the sky. Next pitch is called a strike. One out in the top of the 5th. 7:39 here in Hyannis. A long one here early today. Orleans have 7 hits to Hyannis' 6. But they do have an error that happened in the first inning that allowed a couple of runs to score. Everyone in the Harbor Hawks infield playing at regular depth. Here the pitch from South. That is called outside for a ball.
Yeah, Self will have to be sure he's throwing all that moving stuff he has for strikes. I mean, his fastball is a bit of a cutter, so everything he has a little bite to it.
And the pitch. That is called strike 3, back-to-back strikeouts for Riley Self. They are throwing gas coming out of the bullpen.
And again, yeah, you're right. That's not to say he doesn't have a lot of velocity to go with it, too. Riley Self has just been the complete package for the Harbor Hawks on the mound this year. A steady hand out of the relief role, and that's worth its weight in gold out here in Cape Cod when you can build a bridge to Dylan Thomas that is as reliable as a guy like Riley Self.
Carter Aldrelli now up to bat. Infield at regular depth for the Harbor Hawks. 2 outs in the top of the 5th. That first pitch is called a strike. The sun is setting here in downtown Hyannis. And the pitch. That is a ground ball. That will go foul right near where the Harbor Hawks bullpen is. On a 2-strike count for Riley Self. Trying to get out of this one in the 5th. And the pitch. That is fouled off. Just the edge of the bat. In the on-deck circle is Matt Frazier, the center fielder for the Firebirds. And the pitch. That is a ground ball that will go to the first baseman in Pages. All he has to do is just stepped on to first, and the Harbor Hawks go 1-2-3 here in the top of the 5th inning. They'll be up in the bottom of the 5th trying to score a couple more runs, being down by 3. We'll be right back here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
You're listening to the Hyannis Harbor Hawks on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Now back to today's voices of the Hawks, Rob Marcello and Chris Lucey.
Back at it alongside Robert Marcello. Todd Lott due up to start things off for the Harbor Hawks. The first pitch from Showalter called a strike over the outer half of the plate. 7-4 your score. Orleans out front of the Harbor Hawks here from McKeon Park in downtown Hyannis. Eric Rivera and Brady Lindsley to follow up Todd Lott. And the 0-1 pitch hacked on and missed for strike 2. A little more low cheddar from the righty out of James Madison. Todd Lott on the day, 2 for 2 with a pair of knocks. The pitch cut on and nicked foul behind home. Todd Lott still with an 0-2 count on him. And how about Todd Lott breaking out of a little bit of a miniature skid? He came into this day 3 for his last 18, but has hit safely in each of his last 2 at-bats, knocking in a run in the bottom of the second inning as well, as he's taken some time to readjust his batting gloves. Wearing a pair of red and white UL Lafayette batting gloves. The 0-2 pitch. Called a ball low and away. Count 1-2. And
Sorry, Chris. Todd Lott is just trying to get going here. Obviously, just got out of his skid with a RBI there. Definitely has to continue to get going, as he's been probably one of the hottest bats on our team besides Matthew Barefoot.
And there he shows it again on the 1-2 pitch. He swings and serves the ball into left center field for a base knot. Frazier cleans it up in the gap, throws it back into the middle infield. And that is a leadoff hit for Todd Lott to get the bottom of the 5th inning started. 7-4 again the score. Hyannis trying to battle its way back from an early deficit against the Orleans Firebirds. But it's been worse. In the second inning, Hyannis was down 5-1, and they've chipped away slowly since, scoring runs in each of their last 3 trips to the plate. Eric Rivera now at the right side of the dish. Todd Lott with the lead and the pitch. A ball in the dirt, and Todd Lott goes. Snap throw down to second base. Goes way off the bag, free with a bad throw. And Todd Lott with a stolen base.
Free there with a bad throw, and a great jump by Todd Lott to be able to get down to second base.
The throw just dragging the second baseman Aldretti offline, and Todd Lott coming in at 6'4", upwards of 220 pounds, flashing some of the speed that has made him such a desirable prospect on the Cape League season. And the pitch to Rivera is high and outside for ball 2. Eric also with a productive day. He's 1 for 1 with a walk and a single. Coming off of a 2-walk performance, a 1 for 3 line last night as well. The set and the pitch, a called strike from Showalter. The righty out of James Madison University just trying to find the zone again after a little bit of early adversity here in the bottom of the 5th. Todd Lott reaching with that leadoff single and then advancing to second base with a steal. Now he has a 2-step lead off the second and the pitch. Ball in the dirt. Count advances to 3 balls and a strike. Eric Rivera, one of the most patient hitters on the Harbor Hawks at the plate right now with the 3-1 count. You know he'll be disciplined. He is the only Hyannis batter with less than 10 strikeouts. Sits at 9 on the season and the pitch. Called ball 4. Take your base, Eric Rivera. The Florida Atlantic Owl works his way for a free 90 down the first base line, and Hyannis is in business. 2 men on, down 7-4, but nobody out here in the bottom of the 5th, and Brady Lindsley coming to the plate, and his offensive numbers are trending upward.
They sure are. He's doing a really good job behind the plate, but also being able to do a good job hitting, and a great job there by Rivera being able to work that count.
4 base knocks and a walk last night, 4 for 4 on the day for Brady yesterday against the first place Wareham Gateman. And the first pitch he sees a hack and a miss from the left side of the plate for strike 1. Showalter ahead in the count early. And it has been a little bit of a regression to the mean for Brady today. He has 2 strikeouts on the game, but yesterday was a huge confidence booster for him. Now he's up with runners on first and second, an 0-1 count, and the pitch. Cut on and a slow chopper foul and down the first base line. Count now 0-2 on the OU product. Brady playing his college baseball down at Oklahoma. Lights coming on here at McKeon Park. some clouds finally starting to clear out. It's been a foggy, muggy, cloudy day all day out here in Hyannis as Showalter sets the 0-2 pitch and the righty deals to the lefty. Called strike 3. Third strikeout of the game for Brady Lindsley. Give him the sombrero. That one looking first strikeout of the inning for the righty Showalter. And there's one away in the bottom of the 5th.
Unfortunate there for Brady Lindsley, taking a pitch just outside, and knowing this umpire and how big his strike zone's been all day, you can't take that pitch.
Taylor Garris up for his third ups now at the right side of the plate. And the pitch called a strike, low and away. Same pitch, same result as the previous one that got Brady Lindsley out looking. Runners on first and second, 7-4 the score. Orleans out front of Hyannis in one last interdivisional matchup between the two ball clubs. The 0-1. Plunks Taylor Garris right in the back. Take your base. And now there is nowhere to put Tommy Jew as he comes up. The lineup turning over again. The bases loaded. Only one away here in the bottom of the 5th. And the Harbor Hawks have a prime opportunity to break into a 3-run deficit here at McKeon Park.
They sure do. And now with the lineup turning over to the top of the lineup, this is even more important with Tommy Jew here. Let's see if he's able to do anything here.
Tommy Jew looking to steal bragging rights from an old friend. His buddy Andrew Martinez, a UCSB teammate, manning the shortstop position today for the Firebirds. Now Tommy at the right side of the plate and the pitch. Called a ball low and away. Bases loaded. Lights coming on here at McKeon Park. And the Hyannis Harbor Hawks offense with a chance to start its engines. Infielders playing at double play depth. Anything on the ground could get them out of this one. The pitch. Called a ball low and away. Count now 2-0 on Tommy Jew. Tommy with a productive day to say the least. One strikeout looking in the bottom of the first, but followed it up with 2 walks and 2 runs scored. Also swiped a pair of bags his last trip to the base paths. The 2-0. Cut on and a grounder over towards the right side. It gets in the gap and out into right field for a base hit. Todd Lott comes in to score. Eric Rivera held up around third base, but the ball gets away on the throw. Eric Rivera still staying put over at third base. Taylor Garris advancing to second, and Tommy Jew with an RBI single brings the Harbor Hawks to within 2 runs here in the bottom of the 5th inning. It's now 7-5 Orleans.
A great piece there. Now the manager for the Firebirds is going to come out. A lot of relievers being used today here as this game is prolonging because of the offense on both sides.
Kelly Nicholson out to remove his right-hander in Showalter. We'll have a new man on the mound in just a few moments here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Don't go anywhere, though. Bases still loaded in the bottom of the 5th, and plenty more action to be had on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
We're back here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. A new pitcher out on the mound today for the Orleans Firebirds, coming in relief of Showalter. It's Corey Giacone out of southeastern Louisiana. The righty comes to the set. in a tough situation. Bases loaded, a 2-run edge hanging in the balance for his Orleans Firebirds with Trevor Hopper at the plate. The righty deals to the lefty. Ball one low and away. And his evening is underway after a rough performance from Showalter. 2/3 of an innings pitched, 3 hits, 1 run coming on his bill. But all the runners on base right now, his responsibility. The 1-0. Called a strike right over the outer corner of the plate. An off-speed pitch fools Trevor Hopper, and the count even at 1 ball and a strike. Trevor with 2 walks and a strikeout today. 1-1. Cut on and a chopper over towards the right side. It gets over to the second baseman, Aldretti. He just goes on to first for the out. A run comes in to score, and Hyannis is within 1 on the RBI ground out from Hopper. Eric Rivera, the man to come to the plate, and it is now only 7-6 Orleans.
A really good job by the Harbor Hawks, continuing to be able to come back, not giving up. This is a good job here. The Harbor Hawks definitely could use this win.
Absolutely, they could, trying to retake sole possession of second place here in the Western Division. Right now, they sit tied at 45 points with the Falmouth Commodores. Davis Wenzel now up to the plate to try and change that too. The pitch, cut on and grounded over towards shortstop. It gets to the third baseman, Steer, who makes a throw over to first base after a crazy hop and a scoop to get Davis Wenzel for the final out of the inning. So on 2 hits, the Harbor Hawks are able to score 2 runs and cut the deficit to only 1 run. No errors either. And now we go to the top of the 6th inning. Matt Frazier, Andrew Martinez, and Pat DeMarco due up in just a few moments here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright. You're listening to the Cape Cod Baseball League on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Let's get you back to the game.
2 runs in the bottom of the 5th inning have the Harbor Hawks back to within 1. Hello, everybody. Alongside Robert Marcello, I'm Chris Lucey. Top of the 6th inning here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Matt Frazier, Andrew Martinez, and Pat DeMarco due up for the Firebirds against the birthday boy, Riley Self. The first pitch, a ball in the dirt, just getting away from the back foot of Frazier, who skips away from it in the left-handed batter's box.
Self's last inning pitched really, really well. Big for the Harbor Hawks. Now they're only down by 1 run.
And looking to maintain the only slight edge for the Orleans Firebirds going into their next offensive half inning, as the 0-1 pitch, or the 1-0 pitch, bounces in the dirt, and the count goes to 2 balls, no strikes. Frazier has yet to get his first hit of the day, 0 for 2, with a strikeout and a ground out. The righty deals to the lefty. Ball 3. That one almost hit in the back foot of Frazier once again. And now Riley Self needs a strike. But he'll have to be careful with Frazier. Doesn't want to damage what's already a tenuous situation for the Harbor Hawks here. Only trailing by 1 run. Frazier able to knock in 28 RBI for the Arizona Wildcats this year. As the next pitch is a called strike over the outer half of the plate, count advancing to 3 balls and 1 strike. Brian Troop with a little bit of a late call behind home plate, but better late than never as far as the Mississippi State Bulldog is concerned. The 3-1. Another called strike, high and away. Cut fastball right there from Self. Loads the count, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Nobody down here in the top of the 6th inning. 7-6 your score. Orleans hanging on by a thread here in Hyannis. The 3-2 pitch. Cut on and a chopper foul down the first base line. We'll redo the 3-2. Infield, outfield, pretty much straight away. Tommy Jew creeping a little bit inward, just in front of a patch of dead grass behind him in center field. He's really run the grass at McKeon Park ragged this season, tracking down just about anything in center field. The 3-2 pitch. Cut on and roped the other way out into the left center field gap for a base knock. Eric Rivera charges over towards the gap, fields the ball, relays it in. Matt Frazier with a leadoff hit in the top of the 6th inning.
Frazier taking that pitch to opposite field there for a leadoff single. Self has to settle down here.
He absolutely does. Now the infield will come in a little bit, trying to watch out for double play depth. Anything on the ground will lighten Riley Self's load, to say the least. Andrew Martinez up at the plate right now. 1 for 2. Had a single in his previous trip to the plate. Also came around to score. Snap throw over to first. And Frazier dives in safe. No tag from Pages. The lights are on here at McKeon Park. And it is a beautiful night for baseball. Not too hot, not too cold. And a 1-run ball game on the field here at Judy Scarafao Field at McKeon Park. Another snap throw over to first base. Frazier in safely once again. Martinez at the right side of the plate. The righty Self to a low set and the pitch. Call it a strike. And that starts off the at-bat in a 0-1 count. UCSB Gaucho. If he just looks a little bit past Self on the mound, we'll see another fellow Gaucho out in center field and his good friend Tommy Jew. Self now setting up the 0-1. Here's the pitch. Called strike. Count now 0-2 on a little cutter on the outside half of the plate. Frazier's on first base. Led this inning off with a single. Top of the 6th inning. 7-6 your score. Hyannis behind the Orleans Firebirds, but mounting a charge back. They notched 2 runs in the previous frame to get themselves back into this thing. However, they stranded 3 men on base. Snap throw over to first once again. Riley Self really keeping his eye on Matt Frazier. The man out of Arizona has yet to record a stolen base on the season. But Riley Self leaving no stone unturned. Double play depth from the infield. Everyone kind of far back except Pages holding on the runner who has a big lead. More than 3 steps. The 0-2. Called a ball low and away, and the count now 1-2. Self trying to get Martinez to chase, but the shortstop not biting. He's wearing a bright red Orleans Firebirds jersey, yellow lettering, or white lettering, and white pants. The 1-2. A hack and a miss for strike 3. Second strikeout of the night for Andrew Martinez. First of the inning, third of the evening for Riley Self. And there's 1 away in the top of the 6th inning.
A good piece there by Riley Self, continuing what good stuff he did last inning here. Still trying to get out of this. Went out trying to get a ground ball, maybe get out of this inning and get these guys back up where they scored a couple of runs last inning and could score more.
And Pat DeMarco, someone who scored twice in this game, now stands at the right side of the plate. Runner on first base, 1 away. The pitch. Called strike over the outer half. Nice little running fastball from Self. And the count 0-1. DeMarco, as I mentioned, 2 walks and a flyout on the day. Chalk him up for 0 for 1. But still, he came around to score both times he reached the base paths. Frazier still with a lead off of first base. Another floater back over to first base from Self. Pedro Pages applying the tag, but Frazier well in front of a slow throw over to first base. Now the righty comes to the set, dealing with the righty at the plate, who's in an 0-1 count. The pitch, runner goes, and the next pitch is hacked on and golfed high and foul down into the Harbor Hawks bullpen. Hit and run almost executed there for the Orleans Firebirds, trying to push themselves back out front by multiple runs. They only lead 7-6 here on Judy Scarafao Field at McKeon Park. Pat DeMarco at the plate. Now in a 2-strike count. 0-2 the count. Riley Self, a strikeout pitcher, already with 3 on the evening. looking for number 4 with this next pitch. The 0-2, runner goes, and it is nibbled off and foul down the first base line, getting a piece of the catcher Lindsley, who needs to take a second to regroup. So despite failing at the first hit and run, it stays on. Chris Constantine not changing his sign down the third base line. He matching his counterpart ball players with a bright red Orleans Firebirds top, white baseball pants, white lettering on the jerseys, and red batting helmets with the Orleans Firebirds logo on the forehead. Hyannis countering with their home whites, white pants, white jerseys, orange sleeves, orange lettering, blue caps with the orange Hyannis H, and blue trim around the lettering. Infield at double play depth, and 1 away here in the top of the 6th. The man on first, 7-6, the lead for Orleans. The pitch, count 0-2, and the ball is way outside. A throw down to second base from Brady Lindsley after the ball bounces, and a steal from Frazier. Tag unable to be applied. The ball getting away from Taylor Garris, and that is a stolen base for Matt Frazier. 1 away here still in the top of the 6th inning, but now runner in scoring position. Big time steal right there from Frazier. Great awareness, had himself a big lead as the ball got away from Brady Lindsley and then took off. He was in at second base by a mile, despite a nice throw from Lindsley that just barely got away from Garris. And now the count's 1-2. DeMarco still at the right side of the plate. The righty self to the set. Big lead off second from Frazier. Looks back the man and now deals the 1-2, which is hacked on and slipped foul behind home. Count staying at 1 ball and 2 strikes. Pat DeMarco, pretty solid with runners in scoring position, was able to bat in 43 runners in his college season down at Vanderbilt. The 1-2. High and inside for ball 2. Evens the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Frazier is 180 feet away from scoring out on second. If he does that, Orleans will jump back out front by multiple runs, but right now they only have a 1-run cushion between them and the Harbor Hawks, leading 7-6 here with 1 away in the top of the 6th. The 2-2. Ball in the dirt. Count loaded once again, 3-2. Riley Self loading up counts early here. Riley in his second inning of work, working his pitch count out to 32. Comes to a low set. Now the 3-2. Cut on and golfed foul down the right field line, well out of play. Big playoff implications on this game. Hyannis, as it sits, is tied at 45 points apop with them and the Commodores. Falmouth not playing tonight, so Hyannis with a golden opportunity to take 2 points in this thing and bounce themselves right back on top of the Commodores and reclaim sole possession of second place. Self to the set and the 3-2 once again. Cut on and a slow dribble over towards Davis Wenzel at short. He forehands it, takes a stutter step, throws across the diamond. Pedro Page is diving off the bag to save the ball from getting away, but unable to keep his foot on it. So the runner is safe. That is an infield hit for Pat DeMarco. Matt Frazier advances over to third base, still only 1 away, and runners on the corners. Hyannis struggling to defend a 7-6 lead here in the top of the 6th.
A close call there for Pedro Page. Just thought he was out. Looked pretty good on there, but unfortunately was safe. Now there's runners at the corners, and Riley Self has to be careful here, so the Harbor Hawks aren't down by any more than 1.
Tom Ryberg, the first base umpire, making the tough decision down the right field line. Ray Korn now out for a word with his righty out of Mississippi State. Plenty of action going on in the Harbor Hawks bullpen right now. And you have to imagine that Coach Korn is just out there trying to calm down his big righty. I mean, no runs have come to pass just yet. Sure, he's thrown a lot of pitches, but he's been able to get in 2 strike counts, and Orleans has just really made him battle.
They sure have, and definitely have worked counts, and Self has been effective for the most part, but in a little trouble here now.
Meeting still going on out there on the mound. 7-6 the score, but a sticky situation here for the Harbor Hawks, trying to defend what is only a 1-run deficit. Runners on first and third, an infield hit from Pat DeMarco with 1 out, creating all of this controversy with J.J. Blade due up. Not so much controversy, but a little bit of suspense, if you will. And JJ is about as hot as it gets on the field right now. 3 for 3 with a pair of singles and a home run earlier in this game. A solo shot in the top of the 4th inning. And now the meeting adjourned off the pitcher's mound. Brian Troop, the home plate umpire, out to make sure everything breaks up and everyone returns to their positions. Here comes Blade. Runners on first and third, and only one out here in the top of the 6th. Blade at the left side of the plate. The righty south to the set and the pitch. Called a strike over the outer half. Blade showing bunt, sucking it back, but still taking a strike. Self taking his time out there on the mound today. Newly minted 21-year-old. Snap throw back over to first base. Was his birthday today. Still is. But he's getting a run for his money. Maybe getting a little too old for this stuff, as Danny Glover once said. Back to baseball now. The first pitch. Called a strike right over the outer half of the plate. Count 0-1 on J.J. Blade. Never too old for a situation like this. A tight game out here at McKeon Park. 7-6 the score. Runners on the corners. 0-2 actually the count on J.J. Blade. And Self 1 strike away from getting out of a sticky situation. Taking his time. The 0-2. Called a ball low and away. Just missing on the outer black with that cut fastball. Count now 1-2. Infield still around double play depth. Outfielders with no doubles defense. Trying to keep everything in front of them. Self back to the set again. 1-2 the count. Snap throw over to first base. And DeMarco jumps back in safely. It's all Vanderbilt at the top of this order. 3 of the first 4 men in the order for the Firebirds consider themselves Commodores during the regular season. The 1-2 pitch. Runners go. The pitch called a ball. Snap throw down to second base from Lindsley. And out on the throw. Pat DeMarco tagged out. And that changes the complexion of this inning. Count advances to 2-2. But Pat DeMarco thrown out by Brady Lindsley. And there's 2 away. Only a runner on third base now.
Surprised there that the man over at third didn't go home.
It was a surprising development there, but it looks like he got the hold sign from his third base coach. And now up comes, or J.J. Blade still up, 2-2 the count. And a called ball 3, low and away. Another loaded count. 3rd consecutive loaded count here for Riley Self. Having to work like a dog on his birthday.
As he is a Mississippi State Bulldog himself, so definitely right for you to say there, Chris.
I didn't even mean that, but I should just take the credit and be quiet.
Take the credit.
3-2 the count, 2 away, 7-6 the score. Runner on third base and Frazier. The pitch called ball 4. And we're right back to where this whole thing started. 2 away this time, but runners on the corners once again. And Hyannis in a precarious position right now. 7-6 the score, trying to defend only a 1-run deficit going into their half of the 6th inning. Lights are on here at McKeon Park. Plenty of activity in the Harbor Hawks bullpen. Ray Korn making the calls with pitching right now, as Hyannis' manager Chad Gassman no longer in the building. The first pitch, a called strike to Spencer Steer, who stands at the plate right now. J.J. Blade advances to 3 for 3 on the day with that walk, not really affecting his bottom line. Spencer Steer with 2 hits and a flyout. He's 2 for 3. 0-1 the count. The righty deals to the righty. A ball low and away. Even count now, 1 ball, 1 strike. Infield still double play depth. The 1-1 pitch. Bouncer, and it gets away from Brady Lindsley. Matt Frazier's in to score easily. Advancing J.J. Blade over to second base. The wild pitch from Riley Self puts the Orleans Firebirds up 8-6 here with only 1 away in the top of the 6th inning.
Tough bid there for Self, throwing a ball in the dirt. Lindsley unable to get it there, and just unfortunately now being down by 2 runs.
Spencer Steer still up at the plate. 2-1 now, the count on him. Runner on second base, so still someone in scoring position in J.J. Bleday. 2-1, fourth coming. Here goes. Hacked on and missed for strike 2. Count now even 2 balls and 2 strikes. Frazier coming in to score on the last wild pitch right there from Self. Made this an 8-6 ball game. And now Self a strike away from finding his way out of it. The 2-2. Cut on and a slow nibbler over to Davis Wenzel at short. He has to forehand it, and the ball just gets between him and the dirt, stays on the ground, and that's another infield hit. Spencer Steer reaching and moving J.J. Bleday over to third base. Runners on the corners once again, and the nightmare just won't end for the Harbor Hawks here in the top of the 6th.
Wenzel there had to make it a quicker play than he wanted to because of Steer's speed, and unfortunately unable to get his glove on it, and scores a base hit. Now Ray Corn's going to come back out and probably relieve Self's duties for the night.
Someone is coming in from the Harbor Hawks bullpen, so that will be all for the birthday boy, Riley Self. We'll give you his final line in just a few moments, but first, a quick break here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. But don't go anywhere. Hyannis trying to stay in this game. It's currently 8-6 Orleans. More to come in just a few moments.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright. You're listening to the Cape Cod Baseball League on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Let's get you back to the game.
We're back here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network, along with Robert Marcello. I'm Chris Lucey, and a new man out on the mound in Ryan Pepio. Going into his junior year at Butler, he's in relief of Riley Self. Runners on the corners, an 8-6 deficit for the Harbor Hawks against the Orleans Firebirds. And his first pitch of the evening, called a ball low and away to Philip Clark. Pepio righty, Clark a lefty at the plate. Philip, tonight's designated hitter, 1 for 3 with a pair of strikeouts and an RBI single. One of 8 runs in a high-flying offensive night for the Firebirds. The pitch, called a ball over the outer half, and the count advances to 1-1. 2 away here, infield double play depth, outfield playing no doubles defense way back, trying to keep everything in front of them, and only stay behind by 2 runs. Throw over to first, and diving in safely, Spencer Steer. Today's third baseman out of Oregon, having himself a night, 3 for 4 with a pair of RBIs. Pepio the set and the 1-1. Called a ball low and away. Lindsley trying to frame it as best he can over that outer half, but no love from the home plate umpire Troop. Thank you for spending part of your evening with us here on the Hyannis Hawks Digital Network. Got off to a first pitch at 6 o'clock, 8:18 in the evening right now. But for as long as it's been, it has been a fun ball game, to say the least. 2-1 the count. Pepio to the set and the pitch. Ball 3 high and outside on the off-speed offering. Count now 3-1 on him. Final line on self, 1 2/3 innings pitched. 2 hits, 1 run, 1 earned, but both the runners on are his responsibility. He walked 1, struck out 3 on his 21st birthday, and now the 3-1. Called a strike over the outer half, a little bit low, around knee level, and now another full count on Philip Clark. 2 full counts brought us into this little confrontation here. Took Riley Self out of this game early, both of those full counts turning into base runners eventually. And now the 3-2. Runner on first goes, and the pitch is cut on and sent high in the air towards the left field line. Seth Gray looking for it, has his hands out like he doesn't know where it is, but able to find it just as it comes down to his range. He meets it, gloves it, and there is 3 away here in the top of the 6th inning. On 3 hits, the Firebirds are able to plate 1 more run, no errors, and 3 men left on base in what was a sticky situation. 8-6 your score. Hyannis going now to the bottom of the 6th inning, where Pedro Pages, Seth Gray, and Todd Lott are due up to try and punch the Harbor Hawks out front. We'll be right back in just a few moments here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright.
You're listening to the Hyannis Harbor Hawks on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Now back to today's voices of the Hawks, Rob Marcello and Chris Lucey.
Alongside Robert Marcello, I'm Chris Lucey. 8-6 the score. Orleans out front of the Harbor Hawks, but Pedro Pages coming up to the plate to try and draw his ball club just a little bit closer. Pedro's 2 for 3 today, reached on a fielder's choice as well. Able to knock in a run with that fielder's choice, and the first pitch he sees is clubbed on and grounded over towards short. It's bobbled by Martinez. He can't get a throw down, and Pedro Pages reaches with his 3rd hit of the day, an infield hit. And now there's a man on to start the bottom of the 6th inning.
The little simplest of plays for Martinez. Unfortunately, he was unable to do there. Looked like it was going to be an easy out, but Pedro Pages running it out there. That's really good baseball there.
That play might actually be scored an error. We'll have to take a look at that. And yes, an E6 is how Pedro Pages is able to get on. But he's on for the 4th time of the game. And now Seth Gray up. Seth had a sacrifice fly in the bottom of the 3rd. Otherwise, 0 for 2. He's at the left side of the plate. The righty kicks and deals. Called strike over the outer half. Count 0-1. Giacone still out there. The pitch. The next one he sees is cut on and cranked out towards right field. It's going back towards the trees and is way gone. Seth Gray breaking his way out of an 0 for 18 skid with a bomb out to right field to tie this game up at 8 here in the bottom of the 6th inning.
We've been wanting to see if Seth Gray can have that power, and he sure did there. Hitting one out in the trees, out in right field. A great hit by Seth Gray. Now the game's tied 8-8.
Just the hit Seth Gray was looking for, too. 0 for 18 coming into that moment. Now with 3 RBIs on this game, including that sacrifice fly, he breaks a skid in just the way he needed to, so he can exhale and bring up Todd Lott to possibly put Hyannis out front. Todd has done it before. had a go-ahead home run in the second half of a doubleheader in Orleans earlier this year that was eventually the decisive blow. Now the 1-0 pitch. Called a strike over the outer half. Ciccone has to regroup after pretty much a worst-case scenario. Comes in with a 2-run lead in his back pocket and lets it fly out of the yard off the bat of Seth Gray. The pitch, called a ball low and away. Skips away from the catcher free. Count now 2-1. And you talk about integral hitters for the Harbor Hawks having bounce-back efforts tonight. Seth Gray, one of them with that 2-run blast. And Todd Lott, more of the same. 3 for 18 coming into this game, the 2-1. Cut on and a high chopper over towards third base. Spencer Steer grabs it, fires across the diamond, and gets Todd Lott retired for the first time this game. As I was mentioning earlier, he was 3 for 3 going into that at bat, now 3 for 4, but still just the performance he needed after coming into this game on a 3 for 18 skid.
Just getting back to Seth Gray's home run, that error there by Martinez plays costly there. Without being tied 8-8, there would only been a 1-run game.
Absolutely. Now Eric Rivera coming to the plate. He's at the right side. The pitch. Ball 1 from Ciccone. Righty on the mound, righty at the plate. Eric Rivera also with a couple of turnaround games here. The 1-0. Ball low and away. That one just nipping off the dirt. Backstop free with a nice pick. Eric is 1 for 1 with a pair of walks. Also came around to score in the bottom of the 5th. And the next pitch, called a strike right down Broadway. 2-1 now the count. Infielders, outfielders playing at their normal depth. Nobody away here in the bottom of the 6th. Your score 8-8. Check swing from Rivera and a called strike over the outer half. Count now out to 2 balls and 1 strike. The pitch, cut on and a roped foul. That one getting down the third base line. Count advances to 2-2. Lights fully on and a night sky beautiful here in downtown Hyannis. The 2-2 pitch. Bouncer loads the count up. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Another nice stop from Free despite an empty base path. Those empty bases courtesy of Seth Gray's 2-run bomb earlier in this inning that got this game tied at 8. And the next pitch from Rivera is cut on and laced into left field over the diving glove of Martinez for a base knock. And Eric Rivera with his second hit of the day comes with 1 out in the bottom of the 6th inning. And the Harbor Hawks just tied this game at 8. And now they have a good deal of momentum going for them with Brady Lindsley coming up to the plate.
They sure do there. And Eric Rivera, anytime he really plays, he's very effective. He's not an everyday guy, but when he does play, now getting more time later in the season, he's been very effective.
Absolutely. And a guy who's not going to have numbers that really jump out at you, but someone who day in and day out just makes the most of his opportunities. The first pitch to Lindsley. Called strike from the righty Ciccone on the lefty out of Oklahoma. Brady catching today for the Harbor Hawks. He's down on the count 0-1. Snap throw back over to first. Eric Rivera dives in safely. Eric currently leading this team with 8 steals. Snap throw over again. Rivera diving in safely. Ciccone reading up on his scouting report. And again, back to how Rivera is one of those kind of quiet guys that day in and day out makes an impact without really wowing you with his numbers. After another throw back over to first. In 210 at-bats for the Florida Atlantic Owls this year, a team that made it to a regional and won the CUSA, Eric only struck out 24 times. The next pitch, cut on and served into right field for a base knock. Brady Lindsley rounding first base. Eric Rivera stopped up at second. Relay throw in from J.J. Blade. 2 men aboard, only 1 away here in the bottom of the 6th inning, and the Harbor Hawks bats have come to life late here at McKeon Park.
They sure have, and a good piece by Brady Lindsley hitting it out to right field. Now 2 guys on with now Taylor Garris up and the top of the order coming up after him.
When it rains, it pours, Rob, and now Taylor Garris comes up with a big bit of momentum in the favor of Hyannis. He's looking for his first hit of the night. Was hit by a pitch in his previous plate appearance, but is 0 for 2. Ciccone to the set, and the pitch. Garris shows bunt, sucks it back, takes ball 1. 1-0 the count on today's second baseman out of Sanford. Infield playing double play depth, but the first baseman in Groshans creeping his way towards the infield dirt, trying to play to that bunt of Taylor Garris, who stands in the right-handed batter's box. The righty Giacone to the set, and the 1-1 has to wait as he steps off the rubber to take a look at the man on second base. 8-8 your score here from McKeon Park. Thank you for joining us. It is a thrilling ball game here in downtown Hyannis. The 1-1 called a strike over the outer half, and now the count is 1-2. Check that count now, 1-1. Count was 1-0 earlier. Garris actually sucking back the bunt on that first pitch. Runners on first and second. Giacone to the set. The righty deals. Another bunt from Garris. He shows he flips and flips it foul behind home. Count now 1-2.
Definitely have to be careful in Garris now being down by 2 strikes. And if he bunts it and fouls it again, he'll strike out.
Bobby Melly making the calls from the third base coaching box for the Harbor Hawks, but likely going to take the bunt off of Garris here. Let him swing away. Maybe swing the Harbor Hawks out of an 8-8 tie. The pitch called a ball. Eric Rivera goes from second, throw down to third, and Eric Rivera called out on the tag from the third baseman in steer, or called safe. Eric Rivera getting in just underneath the tag, and the third base umpire, John Putala, calling him safe. Just a few seconds reserved on the call right there, and Eric Rivera gets himself a free 90 feet and comes within 90 feet of taking a lead for Hyannis. Close call over down at third base. Spencer Steer applying the tag nicely, and now a 2-2 count on Garris. The pitch, cut on, and a chopper over towards shortstop. Martinez fields it, throws on to second for one, relay to first as Eric Rivera comes to score. Not in time. Taylor Garris knocks in a run and puts the Harbor Hawks back out front 9-8 here in the bottom of the 6th inning.
A really nice job there by Garris. Gets the RBI, fielder's choice, but the Harbor Hawks are in the lead.
That's something they haven't been able to say all day long, getting out to a 3-0 deficit in the top of the 1st inning. And since then, they had been trailing until just now. Runner on first base, Tommy Juice shows bunt, sucks it back. Strike called by the home plate umpire, True. 0-1 the count on the outfielder from UCSB. He's 1 for 2 today with a pair of walks and a pair of runs scored. Also an RBI single. The 0-1. Called a ball low and inside. Count even, a ball and a strike. 9-8 your score here from McKeon Park. The Harbor Hawks just taking the lead here in the bottom of the 6th. 2 away here, though. Tommy Jew trying to keep the magic going, and he sends the 1-1 pitch, hooking foul down the left field line. Brady Lindsley, the man out on the fielder's choice. Make that a 6-4 fielder's choice on Taylor Garris. That got him over to first base as he draws a long look from the righty Giacone. Tommy Jew back up at the right side of the plate, wiggling his bat behind his head, and the pitch. Cut on and fisted foul behind home. Count advances to 2 balls and 2 strikes. Trevor Hauber's on deck. The Arizona State Sun Devil in the midst of the hottest stretch he has had this summer. Tommy Jew also starting to catch fire again after losing a 7-game hit streak and then going hitless in the previous 2. The 2-2. Called a ball low and away. Brings Free back up from behind home plate to look back at the runner at first, but Garris retreats to the bag. Count now full, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Tommy Jew at the plate trying to keep a rally alive here for the Harbor Hawks in the bottom of the 6th inning. The pitch, runner goes, and it's cut on and fisted foul again behind home. Count remains 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Tommy Jew there, if he didn't swing there, probably would have been dead out to right at second base, was Garris, says. He didn't get a very good jump there. Smart decision by Jew, and also a smart decision by Melly there to be able to put the hit and run on.
Well, it's only a 1-run cushion for the Harbor Hawks right now, so you really have to try your best to get more runs on the board as the 3-2 is cut on and a high pop-up hit out towards DeMarco in left field. He's tracking it, and he makes the play in spite of the lights for out number 3 in what has been a triumphant inning for the Harbor Hawks. On a pair of hits, the Harbor Hawks plate the go-ahead run and lead now 9-8. One of those hits, a 2-run blast from Seth Gray. The other one, an RBI knock from Taylor Garris that brought Hyannis to where it stands right now. 9-8 your score, and the Orleans Firebirds will bring Jax Groshans, James Free, and Carter Aldretti to the plate for the top of the 7th inning, trying to get themselves back in this one. We'll be back then in just a moment on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Stay tuned.
Magic Works Media copyright. You're listening to the Cape Cod Baseball League on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Let's get you back to the game.
Back at it here for the 7th inning on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Chris Lucey joining you here. Jax Groshans, James Free, and Carter Aldretti do up the 5, 6, and 7 hitters for the Orleans Firebirds, trying to get themselves back out front. They just gave up the lead in the previous frame. And now Ryan Pepio on to defend a 1-run 9-8 edge for Hyannis. The righty deals to the righty. A first pitch called strike, low and inside on Groshans. First baseman out of Kansas, 0 for 3 today with a trio of strikeouts. He's at the right side of the plate, and now the home plate umpire Troop is getting an earful from the manager of the Firebirds in Kelly Nicholson. Chad Gassman already thrown out of this game for arguing balls and strikes, and now Nicholson backing up the Harbor Hawks skipper. 9-8 your score right now as Kelly Nicholson continues to have a little bit of a discussion with Troop. Hyannis out front. Ryan Pepio out for inning number 2 of work. Groshans at the plate, the 0-1. Bouncer. Count now 1-1. So Jax Groshans standing at the right side of the plate. Doesn't have the most conventional name per se, but a great baseball name. Name like Jax. Hey, who's that kid hitting Jax out there? Oh, him? That's Jax. Something along those lines. Definitely has a nice ring to it if you're a ball player. The 1-1. Call it a ball low and away. Count now 2-1. And the interesting thing about Jax is, I asked if it was a family name or maybe an abbreviated name. He said it's not. His parents came up with it due to a place that inspired them back home in Louisiana. The 2-1. Cut on, and the next pitch is cut on and roped foul down the left field line for a base knock. Jax Groshans rounds first, goes into second. The throw meets him there, but he slides in safe. The throw drawing the second baseman Garris off the bag, and that is a lead-off double for Jax Groshans to start off the top of the 7th inning. Nobody out, and a 9-8 edge for the Harbor Hawks, already coming into a little bit of trouble for Ryan Pepio. Jax Groshans making his way out to second base, and the place that inspired his name, actually, his parents' favorite fishing spot or their favorite fish restaurant in their hometown in Louisiana at the time. It's stuck ever since, and Jax Groshans bringing himself very far in the world of baseball. Able to make his way out to Taiwan earlier this year as the first pitch to James Free is a ball low and inside. Free, the catcher out of Pacific, 0 for 5 today, reached on an error in the first. Otherwise has flown out and struck out. Runner on second base, 9-8 the score. Hyannis just out front. They were able to plate 3 runs to jump out front for the first time in the bottom of the 6th inning. And now the 1-0 coming from Pepio. Taking his time. The righty deals to the lefty, but actually steps off the rubber. Lifting that front foot and then pivoting around, making sure Groshans stays honest over at second base. Jack's just back from a team trip to Taiwan with the Kansas Ball Club, the 1-0. Bouncer gets away from Brady Lindsley, and Jax Groshans takes off for third base. He gets in standing up. His Big 12 catching counterpart in Lindsley out of Oklahoma just has to get up, walk the baseball back to Ryan Pepio, and that is a free 90 feet for Jax Groshans. That pitch called a wild pitch. So no harm, no foul on the record of the catcher, Lindsley. Free still at the plate, a 2-0 count. He's at the left side. The switch hitter out of Pacific. And the 2-0. Cut on and nicked foul off his front foot. Count now 2-1. And the interesting things Groshans said about his team's trip out to Taiwan was that the pitching style is completely different from what it is in Cape Cod, and that you'll see 90 to 95 mile per hour fastballs on the island, whereas in Taiwan, you'll see 65 mile per hour curveballs. The 2-1 pitch to Free. Called a ball low and away. Count now 3-1. Groshans said it was a very, very tough adjustment to make after years of playing in speed-dominated baseball, but alas, he still made the adjustment and had plenty of time left in his summer after the trip ended to come back and finish the season with the Firebirds. The 3-1 pitch to Free. Cut on and roped the other way into right field for a base hit. Groshans comes in to score, and this game is tied once again on the RBI knock by James Free. The catcher's first hit of the game ties this thing back up at 9 runs. Still nobody down here in the top of the 7th inning. Carter Aldretti now coming to the plate. Still nobody away, as I mentioned. This inning spiraling out of control for the Harbor Hawks. Ryan Pepio has yet to record an out, and he's already surrendered the lead. Aldretti yet to get a hit. He's 0 for 3. He's at the right side of the plate. The righty Pepio comes to the set and the pitch. Ball in the dirt. Nice ranging stop by Lindsley behind home. Keeps James Free on first base. Switch hitting catcher out of Pacific. Held on by Pedro Pages. Infield now double play depth. Outfielders playing back. Right fielder in lot playing way off the line, more towards left center field. The next pitch. Check swing and a called strike. Evens the count at a ball and a strike. Carter Aldretti at the plate right now. He is one of the most powerful hitters on Cape Cod. Batting .270 with 5 home runs this season. And he hit plenty more than 5 home runs on one lonely night out in Harwich. A wet, cold night was the setting for the 2018 Cumberland Farms Home Run Derby, and Carter Aldretti took the title from the nation's home run leader in Spencer Torkelson, his ASU teammate. The 1-1 pitch. Bouncer low and away. Brady Lindsley, another ranging stop. Count now 2-1. And Aldretti loved every second of it. He was telling me he'll be hanging that win over Torkelson's head for all of next season and likely for the rest of the man's life, as Spencer Torkelson was just golfing balls out into the night sky in Arizona this season. The 2-1. Hacked on and missed for strike 2 at the fastball from Pepio. 2-2 now the count. I mean, Torkelson has just been untouchable at times for the Arizona State Sun Devils, and Aldretti getting to say by any means he has more power than him. Can't get enough of it. The 2-2. Hacked on and missed for strike 3. Trying to channel some more of that power in his bat, but that's a wave and a miss, and the first out of the inning. 1 run already across the board, a 9-9 tie, but 1 away in the top of the 7th. And now Pepio able to settle down. Matt Frazier up to the left side of the plate, the Arizona Wildcat. 1 for 3 with a single. Came around to score on that single too. Runner on first base, and the pitch. Called a strike over the outer half. Nice little breaking pitch from Pepio. Count 0-1 from the Butler Bulldog. Man on first base is James Free. He had an RBI knock to put his ball club back in a 9-9 deadlock with Hyannis. The pitch. Called a ball low and away. Count now 1-1. Been an offensive slugfest here on the Hyannis Harbor-Hawks Digital Network. Thank you so much for joining us. The 1-1. Called a strike over the outer half. Count now 1-2. 18 runs coming across the scoreboard here at McKeon Park on the night. 9 for each ball club. 1-2 the count on Frazier. Pepio to the set and the pitch. Called a ball low and away, and the count advances to 2 balls and 2 strikes. On deck is Andrew Martinez out of UCSB. He had a single and came around to score in the 4th inning. Runner on first base is free. Infield at double play depth and the 2-2. Cut on in line right back up at Pepio, but through the middle infield for a base knock. Advancing station to station, James Free. And that is a 1-out single for Matt Frazier. His 2nd knock of the game puts runners on first and second, still only 1 away here in the top of the 7th inning. Ray Korn out to the top step of the Harbor Hawks dugout, making his way towards the field of play. And here he comes. Coach Gassman was ejected from this game earlier, so it looks like Ray Korn might be the man giving the hook to Ryan Pepio right now. There is another righty getting loose in the Harbor Hawks bullpen. Been a tough evening so far for Ryan Pepio. In 2/3 of an inning, he's given up the lead on that earned run, also 3 hits, able to get a strikeout. But still, this game, a 9-9 tie on his bill. Korn still discussing things with his right-hander. Runners on first and second. If Ray Korn leaves Pepio out there, he'll have a tough situation to deal with. Sandwiching a strikeout amongst 2 hits. 3 hits already on the inning. A leadoff double to Jax Groshans, really not setting the table well for the Harbor Hawks. And Ray Korn giving his righty the vote of confidence. Ryan Pepio still in the game, set to face Andrew Martinez. Tonight's shortstop for the Firebirds, 1 for 3 with that single, came around to score 1 of 9 runs for the Firebirds as he looks to punch the Firebirds back out front. Runners on first and second, only 1 away here in the top of the 7th, and the pitch. Called a ball. High in sight, righty-righty matchup. Advantage Martinez, the 1-0. Again, I mentioned the connection between him and Tommy Jew, both UCSB Gauchos. 1-0 the count. Pepio to the set, looks back the runner at second and deals. Cut on and a pitch nicked just fair up the third base line. Pepio off the mound, throws across to first base. Coming down the third base line, makes the play. Everyone else advances station to station, but Martinez unable to beat out the 1-3 putout, and there's 2 away here in the top of the 7th inning. And that extra degree of separation I mentioned for Martinez and Jew, both actually redshirted their freshman years at UCSB. So they've had some similar experiences. Tommy a year older than him, but still definitely took Martinez under his wing during that redshirt year. Now Pat DeMarco at the right side of the plate. Runners on second and third, and the pitch. Bouncer, it gets away from Brady Lindsley, but bounces off the backstop. Lindsley covering, gets the ball to Ryan Pepio, who covers home plate and tags the runner in free out at the plate. And the 9-9 tie still intact on an acrobatic play by Brady Lindsley. On 3 hits, the Orleans Firebirds are able to plate 1 run and tie this game back up at 9. But on that last wild pitch from Ryan Pepio, Brady Lindsley makes a miraculous recovery, throws to Pepio covering home base, applies the tag, and we go now into the bottom of the 7th inning, still knotted at 9. Tommy Jew, Trevor Hauber, and Davis Wenzel, the top of the order, due up to try and break this tie in just a few moments on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright. You're listening to the Cape Cod Baseball League on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Let's get you back to the game.
Chris Lucey back with you here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. This game knotted at 9. And Trevor Hauber due up to start things for the Harbor Hawks. Davis Wenzel and Pedro Pages to follow him up. He steps up to the left side of the plate. And the first pitch. Called a ball from the righty on the mound. Giaccone still out there. Gave up an earned run in the previous frame, and the next pitch is cut on and sent high in the air out towards DeMarco in right field, who ranges just over to his left. Actually, DeMarco in left field, to make the catch. And there's one away here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Davis Wenzel coming to the plate for Hyannis now. He's 1 for 4. Steps up to the right side. Baylor Bear against Giaccone, and the pitch. Called a strike over the outer half. Brian Troop making the calls. 9-9 your score. Hyannis was able to jump back out front earlier in this game, but let the lead come slipping away again with a 1 spot from the Orleans Firebirds in the top of this frame. Giaccone to the set. 1-1 the count. The pitch. Called a ball low and away. Couple of interns playing around with our broadcast toys out here. Don't play with fire, boys, as the pitch from Davis Wenzel is low and inside for ball 2. They like the spinny chairs, the blue spinny chairs we have up here, the 2-1. Called a strike right in on the hands. And the count advancing to 2 balls and 2 strikes. Point streak lagging just a little bit behind. Home plate umpire corrects us. It's 3 balls and 2 strikes. Giaccone to the set. And the payoff pitch. Cut on and a fisted grounder over towards Steer at third base. He forehand throws across the diamond and gets the speeding Wenzel for out number 2 here in the bottom of the 7th. It's a 9-9 tie here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Thank you so much for joining us. This game, a long one. We're just about 3 hours away from a 6 p.m. start time, but a thriller from start to what will most likely be a thrilling end as well. Pedro Pages up to the right side of the plate. The backstop out of Florida Atlantic University has 1 or 2 hits on the day, And the next pitch he sees is clobbered out into right field and dinks right in front of J.J. Blade for a knock. Pedro rounds first base, stops up there. 2 men down in the bottom of the 7th, the 9-9 tie. But Pedro Pages trying to jumpstart the Harbor Hawks offense. Now Seth Gray up to the plate. Last time the Orleans Firebirds saw Seth at the plate and Pedro on first, the ball was out of the yard before anybody knew it. Seth breaking an 0 for 16 skid in style. An 0 for 18 skid at bat as the first pitch is a ball low and away. Pedro Pages on first base. Double play depth from the infield. Outfielders stepping their way back. The next pitch, called a strike in on the hands. Evens the count at a ball and a strike. The righty Giaccone dealing to the lefty in gray. 9-9 the score here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. A deadlock from McKeon Park in an interdivisional matchup. The 1-1 cut on and slicing foul down the third base line. Gets around the nets and into the stands where a couple people chase after it. Seth Gray now has to shorten up and do a little bit of 2-strike hitting. The 1-2 pitch. Cut on and slapped over towards left field. It'll be an easy play for DeMarco. He steps 2 feet back, makes the grab, and the side is retired. Only 4 men go up in the bottom of the 7th inning. Pedro Page is the only one reaching with a hit. He's stranded. No runs come across. The score remains 9-9. And now we go into the top of the 8th inning here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Don't go anywhere. This thing is getting late, and boy, is it getting interesting.
Magic Works Media copyright.
You're listening to the Hyannis Harbor Hawks on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Now back to today's voices of the Hawks, Rob Marcello and Chris Lucey.
Rob rejoining me in the booth here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. 9-9 the score. And Pat DeMarco up for the Orleans Firebirds, trying to break this 9-9 tie. Pat got his first hit in his previous at-bat. He's 1 for 2 with a pair of walks. And the first pitch is a bouncer low and away. 1-0 the count. Ryan Pepio still on the mound for Hyannis. The next pitch, cut on and flipped foul behind home.
Definitely missed a lot while I was gone, Chris.
That's true. When you were last year, the Harbor Hawks had a 1-run edge, and since it's evaporated. It used to be 9-8 Hyannis, now it's 9-9. 1-1 the count on DeMarco, and the pitch from Pepio. Called a strike from the righty. And the righty at the plate down in a 1-2 hole. A long exhale from Pepio and the 1-2. Cut on and another one served foul down the right field line. Count still 1-2. Infield playing a little bit back. Par for the course. They like to play a little bit back. And the outfield just straight away. The 1-2. Called a ball low and inside. Brady Lindsley trying to frame that one up as best he can, but the backstop from Oklahoma just can't get it done. Count advances to 2 balls and 2 strikes. Ryan Pepio coming to the set. Works from the windup and deals the 2-2. Hacked on and missed for strike 3. It's dropped briefly by Lindsley. He loops the ball down to first. Beats Pat DeMarco to the bag, and there's 1 away to start the 8th inning.
Good pitch there by Ryan Pepio. A breaking ball low in the dirt. There being able to get the strikeout, and thought he tagged him on the way to the home plate umpire. Said he said so, but the first base umpire made him throw down to first.
3rd strikeout of the evening for the righty out of Butler. And J.J. Blade coming to the left side of the plate against the righty. Infield, outfield staying pretty much the same depth. And the first pitch. Cut on and a slow nibbler out towards Davis Wenzel at short. He comes on the infield grass, throws across to first, and he gets J.J. Blade for out number 2. 2 men up, 2 men down in the top of the 8th inning. And Ryan Pepio finally getting in a groove here at McKeon Park.
Nice job there by Pepio, again inducing a ground ball. After struggling a little in the 7th inning, has come out in the 8th and has pitched much better.
He gave up an earned run in the 7th inning to forfeit the lead for the Harbor Hawks, who are now knotted at 9 with the Orleans Firebirds, but 2 away here in the top of the 8th, and up comes Spencer Steer to the right side of the plate. The righty deals the first pitch. Called a strike low and away. 0-1 the count on the Oregon Duck. He has 3 hits on the day. 3 for 4 coming into this confrontation. The 0-1. Another called strike. Same place, same result. And now Spencer Steer has to shorten up. Ryan Pepio has his number over that low outside corner. A little bit of action in the bullpen for both ball clubs. A couple of righties getting loose. The next pitch, cut on and fisted right up the middle through for a base hit. fourth hit of the day for Spencer Steer comes with 2 outs in the top of the 8th inning. He stops at first base. Relay throw coming in from center field. And there's a man aboard with 2 away in the top of the 8th, and Phil Clark coming to the plate.
Pepio leaving a pitch out in the middle of the plate. Obviously, the guy at bat taking advantage of it, and now has a guy on with 2 outs with the game tied 9-9.
Jax Groshans in the on-deck circle right now. He had a double in his previous plate appearance, came around to score the tying run. And now the go-ahead run stands on first base for the Firebirds. 9-9 your score, 2 away in the top of the 8th. Ryan Pepio just trying to find his way through his 3rd inning. The next pitch, hacked on and nibbled foul down the first base line. Kicks up a little dirt devil down the first base edge. Stays out of play, count 0-1. Clark has 1 hit in 4 at-bats today, a pair of strikeouts too. 2 away here in the top of the 8th inning. The pitch, hacked on and missed for strike 2. Ryan Pepio fooling him with 1 on the dirt there. The righty-lefty matchup going in favor heavily to the righty right now. He's got a 2-strike edge. A lefty getting loose up in the pen for the Harbor Hawks right now. The 0-2 pitch, hacked on and missed for strike 3. Tag applied by Lindsley. And that is the 8th inning for you, at least the top half. Only 1 hit, no errors, 1 man left on base, no runs scored. This game stays at 9-9. And now Todd Lott, Eric Rivera, and Brady Lindsley, the 6, 7, and 8 hitters, are due up to try and break the deadlock when we get back on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright. You're listening to the Cape Cod Baseball League on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Let's get you back to the game.
A red-hot Todd Lott set to lead things off here in the bottom of the 8th inning, trying to break a 9-9 tie on Judy Scarafile Field at McKeon Park. Alongside Robert Marcello, I'm Chris Lucey. Giacconi back out to deal with Todd Lott. Right fielder today with 3 hits. Chalk him up at 3 for 4. The first pitch, cut on and roped out towards left field, but that one is getting right towards the left fielder DeMarco, who takes 2 steps back, playing way back in left field to make the catch. And there is 1 away here in the bottom of the 8th. Can't help but just get a little bit excited with that one, Rob. We know that Todd Lott boasts some serious home run power, and that thing got a good angle off his bat, but just died out towards the warning track.
It sure did enough. Looked at glance there. Might get past the left fielder, maybe get off the wall, but with the wind here at McKeon Park tonight blowing out pretty well, it knocked it down.
Eric Rivera at the right side of the plate takes ball 1 low and away. Today's left fielder is 2 for 2 with a pair of walks, too, as he takes a called strike over that outer half. Count even at a ball and a strike on Eric. Giacconi to the set, and the 1-1. Bouncer low and away, count now 2-1. The righty for Orleans bearing the brunt of this game, the 2-1. High and tight for ball 3. This is inning number 4 for Giacconi. He's already worked his way through 3. Now the 3-1. Called a strike low and away. And the count loaded up. 3 balls and 2 strikes on Eric Rivera. The payoff pitch. Cut on and a grounder over towards third base. It kicks off the glove of Spencer Steer and just dies out on the infield dirt. Eric Rivera squares himself up at first base. and we wait on the call from the official scorer.
Tough play there for the third baseman, just unable to grasp it clearly in his glove and be able to take it out of his hand. There a costly mistake there that hopefully the Harbor Hawks can make him pay for.
An E5 charge to Spencer Steer. Eric Rivera reaching on it. Gets on base for now the 5th time today. Brady Lindsley at the left side of the plate. 9-9 to score. The pitch called a ball low and inside. The righty Giacconi behind in the count 1-0. The go-ahead run a couple base paths away from getting Hyannis back out front. Eric Rivera with a big lead off of first base. He leads the Harbor Hawks and steals. The next pitch has to wait for a snap throw back over to first base. Eric Rivera in there safely. Brady Lindsley fresh off his first hit. The next pitch called a strike low and inside. And the count now 1-1. Brady 1 for 4 today after a 4 for 4 day yesterday. Throw over to first, chest high for the first baseman Groshans. He eats it, doesn't tag Eric Rivera, who's in way safe. 1-1 still the count on Lindsley. And the pitch. Cut on and fisted foul behind home. Gets off the brick backstop and hangs way up in the air for a while before dying down. Hyannis approaching their last licks. Knotted at 9 here from McKeon Park. If this thing goes into extras, we must let people know that it'll only go possibly 12 innings. That's the cutoff for the Cape League. The 1-2. Taken for ball 2. And then a snap throw down to first base by Free. Eric Rivera in safely.
An interesting decision there by the catcher. The ball almost got past the first baseman. An interesting throw.
Groshans did have to pick that one out of the dirt, but the catcher himself made a nice pick. He's got good hands. Rivera with a big lead still off of first base. 2-2 the count. The next pitch. Served foul behind home by Lindsley. Staying alive in this count. Brady's someone who's really manufactured his own opportunities this year. Had never played much first base. And this season, he's played more first base than he thinks he's ever played in his entire life. The 2-2. Cut on and popped up high in the air out towards shallow left field. The shortstop and left fielder converging on the ball, but it is the shortstop Martinez who makes the grab for out number 2 here in the bottom of the 8th inning. After a little bit of a miscommunication, almost caused that one to drop between the two of them.
Martinez on multiple occasions tonight has had to call off the outfielders. Example, out in center field early in the game and then just right out here in left field.
Doesn't give you any pause as to why Tommy Jew was relegated to the outfield at UCSB. The first pitch to Garris, high and outside for ball 1, and a snap throw down to first base by the catcher. Free gets away from the first baseman Groshans. Eric Rivera advances 90 feet over to second base, and the Harbor Hawks have a man in scoring position for Taylor Garris. 9-9 your score, and the Harbor Hawks about 180 feet away from jumping out front.
Not a very smart decision by that catcher. Thought he could get him again and made him pay for it there. A interesting decision with this game being knotted up at 9-9. Not even close.
1-0 the count on Garris. Runner on second base, Rivera. He jumps off in the next pitch. A ball low and away. Count now 2-0. Eric Rivera leading the team now with 10 steals. He has been a dog on the base paths as he takes another lead off and is forced back by Giacconi. Giacconi, excuse me. 2-0 the count and the pitch. Called a ball high and outside, count 3-0. Giacconi losing his focus on the matter at hand at the plate with Eric Rivera dancing off the second base bag. And there's a righty getting loose in the Orleans bullpen. The 3-0. Called strike over the outer half. Count now 3-1. 2 away in the bottom of the 8th inning. 9-9 the score. Tied up here at McKeon Park. The Harbor Hawks coming down the final stretch of the season. Looking for any win they can get. The 3-1 pitch. Called a strike low and away. Little breaking ball right there from Giacconi. Loads the count up at 3 balls and 2 strikes. And now Taylor Garris has to shorten up to stay alive. The 3-2. Cut on and nicked foul behind home. Taylor Garris staying alive on a pitch. That would have been strike 3. Eric Rivera on second base. He reached on an E5 earlier in this inning. He's the go-ahead run in this one. A crucial game for Hyannis. The pitch behind Taylor Garris for ball 4. The second baseman out of Sanford works a 2-out walk. Runners on first and second, and the lineup turning over for Hyannis. Leadoff man Tommy Jew coming to the plate. 1 for 2 today with a hit and a pair of walks. He's also driven in a run.
The offense has been very stagnant these past 4 or 5 games, but tonight they're doing a really nice job here, putting up 9 runs. That should be enough for a lot of teams to be able to win games, but with the pitching not being very well, we're going to see if the Harbor Hawks can take the lead here.
First pitch to Jew. Breaking ball for a strike from the righty Giacconi over the outside corner. The UCSB Gaucho behind in the count 0-1. And you mentioned the offense a little bit stagnant. Really roared to life in the top of the 9th yesterday and has been alive since the 0-1. Hacked on and served foul behind home. Count now 0-2. And Tommy Jew has to embrace the 2-strike approach to stay alive here. Runners on first and second. 9-9 your score. Hyannis trying to break this thing wide open in the bottom of the 8th inning. The 0-2 pitch. Ball 1, and it gets away from the catcher free. Everybody advancing on the base paths. Eric Rivera turning around third base, but stopping up on the hold from Bobby Melly. That ball getting way down the first base line and almost towards the Orleans Firebirds dugout as it just kicked off of Free's shin guard and would not stop rolling. And talk about a sticky situation right here for Giacconi. 1-2 the count, just let one get way wild. Now he has to find his center once again. Runners on second and third. And the 1-2 pitch. Ball 2 low and away. Another one in the dirt, but a nice stop right there from Free. Help waiting over the sunrise out in the Firebirds bullpen. That righty's ready. The 2-2. Hacked on and served high into the night sky, out into the gap in left center field. Will it get down? Yes, it does. It bounces off the base of the wall right in front of Frazier. Rivera scores. Garris scores. Tommy Jew on his horse to third base with a 2-out, 2 RBI triple to put Hyannis up 11-9 in the bottom of the 8th inning.
Great piece there by Tommy Jew again, coming in clutch the way he's been since he's been here. Down in Hyannis, and a great play. Harbor Hawks now have the lead. If the Harbor Hawks can hold on here, a major victory at home late in the season that can carry some momentum.
Tommy Jew's second hit of the day. About as big a hit as he's had all year for Hyannis. A 2-out, 2 RBI triple to put his ball club out front in the bottom of the 8th. Trevor Hauver at the plate right now at the left side. Tommy Jew 90 feet away from making this 12-9 as the first pitch floats low and inside. Count 1-0 on the Arizona State Sun Devil. The 1-0 pitch. Cut on and fisted foul the other way. This one in deep left foul territory, but still the third baseman in steer, ranging way out there to try and track it down. The air really being released from the Orleans balloon right now. Firebirds thought they'd be able to stay in this one and take away a win from the Harbor Hawks, but Hyannis goes into the 9th with all the momentum. The next pitch, called a ball low and away. Count advances to 2-1. I mean, you think about it, Rob, the approach to the 9th inning now completely changes for Hyannis, who thought maybe they'd have to throw their back end guy to just defend a tie. 2-1. Called a strike over the outer half of the plate. And now, with the wind at the Harbor Hawks back, you see Dylan Thomas getting loose out there. And there is plenty of momentum for Hyannis going into this thing. The 2-2. Cut on and nibbled foul down the first base line. Gets out of play. Count remains 2-2. 11-9 your score off of a massive 2-out hit from Tommy Jew. The first hit of this inning. A 2-out triple that plates 2 runs. The 2-2 pitch. Cut on and fisted foul the other way down the third base line. Count stays 2-2. No activity left in the Hyannis Harbor Hawks bullpen. You can expect Dylan Thomas to jump out of there for the 9th. But still, the Harbor Hawks with a massive swing of momentum here as the 2-2 is cracked on the ground over towards second base. Aldretti fields on the forehand side, flips over to first base, and gets the man in Hobber for out number 3 here in the bottom of the 8th inning. But what an inning it was. On only one hit, the Harbor Hawks played 2 runs, 1 error, also playing big in this one. And Hyannis goes into the bottom of, or the top of, up 11-9 with the refrain from Hawaii 5-0 playing in the background. And Dylan Thomas coming in to slam the door. The Cape League leader in saves coming to the mound when we get back to try and lock down a win for the Harbor Hawks here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
You're listening to the Hyannis Harbor Hawks on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Now back to today's voices of the Hawks, Rob Marcello and Chris Lucey.
We've reached the 9th inning here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network, and it has been an odyssey to say the least, but it could reach a familiar end. 11-9 the edge for Hyannis over Orleans right now, and Dylan Thomas out to shut the door for the Harbor Hawks, the Cape League leader in saves. Amongst other defensive replacements, Pedro Page is now catching, and Brady Lindsley at first base. Jax Groshans at the right side of the plate, and the pitch. Cut on and popped up foul out of play. That one gets down the right field line. Dylan Thomas on the mound, a 1.31 ERA coming into this thing. 15 games on the season, 3-0 record. The 0-1 pitch. Cut on and missed at some heat for strike 2. 20 2/3 innings pitched for Dylan Thomas. He leads the ball club with 30 strikeouts, looking for 31 here. The 0-2. Called a ball on another fastball high and outside. 1-2 the count. Infielders playing at double play depth, or actually just more so straight away. The 1-2 pitch. Bouncer, they tried to waste one. Check swing, did he go? They look down, and Tom Ryberg says Groshans held up. Top of the 9th inning, a 2-run edge for the Harbor Hawks. And the count now even, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Groshans with 3 homers and 9 RBIs on the season, as the base is clear in front of him right now. 2-2 the count. Dylan Thomas comes to the set. From the windup, he deals. A pitch that's cut on and popped up high into the night sky, but right towards Tommy Jew. Only takes a couple steps over to his right. Makes the catch in the right field gap. And there's one away here in the top of the 9th inning.
Great play there by Tommy Drew Outing, fighting off the lights there. Gets under and makes a catch for the first out in the top of the 9th inning.
1 for 5 on the day. Jax Groshans now. James Free up to the plate. He's 1 for 4. Comes up with 1 man down here in the top of the 9th inning. Upside down in only a matter of moments, really, for the Orleans Firebirds. Most of it courtesy of the man out in center field. The first pitch to the switch hitter. Called a ball. The righty dealing to the man now at the left side of the plate in Free. Tommy Jew with a 2-out, 2 RBI triple in the bottom of the 8th inning. The 1-0. Called a strike high and inside. Breaking pitch right there. Now the count even at a ball and a strike. 3 hours and 17 minutes after first pitch. this game has just been unbelievable as the 1-1 draws a hack and a miss from free. And Dylan Thomas, a strike away from strikeout number 31 on the campaign. Lights are on here at McKeon Park. A couple intrepid fans still left over to watch this game to its thrilling conclusion. The 1-2 pitch. Called strike 3. And Free is livid at the call. And he goes down for the second out of the inning. Strikeout number 31 on the season for Dylan Thomas. And Carter Aldretti is the last hope for the Orleans Firebirds. And you talk about things kind of going completely sideways for the Firebirds over the last couple of days. Just yesterday, they were knocked out of the 4th playoff spot in the Eastern Division. First pitch, called a ball low and away. And that's not to say, Robert, that they're completely eliminated from playoff contention. There's still a couple games to go, but that was a gut punch. The next pitch, cut on and lined out towards Tommy Jew. It dinks right in front of him out in center field for a base hit. And the Firebirds are still alive with 2 down in the top of the 9th inning. Carter Aldretti keeping the dream moving for the Firebirds. And now Matt Frazier coming to the plate. It's never a safe one here, Rob, as we have discovered. 11-9 the score right now. But Hyannis, heck, they didn't get out front of this thing until the 6th inning. And after that, they gave the lead right back. Into a tie, at least. Frazier at the left side of the plate. The righty deals. Hack and a miss for strike 1. Frazier with hits in back-to-back at-bats, 2 for 4 today. Aldretti not taking much of a lead off of first base. The infield playing essentially normally around him. Dylan Thomas to a low set. The 0-1 pitch. Call it a strike. And the Orleans Firebirds are down to their last strike. 11-9 the score. Hyannis out front. Orleans trying to claw their way back into this game, but the Cape League leader in saves on to slam the door for Hyannis. The 0-2 pitch. Cut on and a slow nibbler back out to Thomas. He gets off the mound, barehands it, and bobbles it, allowing Frazier to get to first base safely and Aldretti to move up 90 feet to second base. And this game getting interesting once again. Runners on first and second, 2 away here in the top of the 9th inning. Only a 2-run lead for the Harbor Hawks as the go-ahead run steps up to the plate.
Definitely an interesting one here, and it just seems like this game's never going to end.
3 hours and now 20 minutes removed from first pitch. Pedro Page is out to have a word with his pitcher. The catcher now coming back towards behind home plate. Andrew Martinez awaiting him there at the right side. The shortstop today, 1 for 4 with a single. Runners on first and second, a big spot for him. 11-9 to score. Dylan Thomas trying to close the book on what's been a wild story from McKeon Park. The first pitch. Called a strike from the righty. He's ahead of the righty at the plate, 0-1. There'll be plenty to discuss in the postgame show with Lyle Goldstein. You'll have to tune in to hear what he's got to say about this one. It has been a wild ride from McKeon Park. This Harbor Hawks ball club just will not quit. Thomas looking back, the runner at second and the 0-1. Cut on and a grounder fared over towards third base. Seth Gray steps on third. And the ball is called foul. At the last second, Brian Troop waves his hands behind home plate, calling the ball foul. The Seth Gray force out down at third base negated, and the inning continues. Andrew Martinez getting a second lease on life right there. Count now 0-2 on the UCSB Gaucho. And Dylan Thomas has to regroup. The Hawaii Rainbow Warrior peering in at his catcher. Comes to the set. Runners on first and second, 2 away. The pitch. Called a ball just low and outside. Count now 1-2. A win here for the Harbor Hawks would mean sole possession of second place, freeing them from a deadlock with the Falmouth Commodores at 45 points. Falmouth not playing tonight. Thomas to the set again. 1-2 the count. 2 away. Top of the 9th inning, a 2-run edge for the Harbor Hawks. The pitch. Hacked on and missed for strike 3. And a roller coaster ride of a ball game ends in a Hyannis Harbor Hawks win, 11-9, the final score.
What a great game for the Harbor Hawks. A great win at home against a very good club that's currently vying for a playoff spot. Anytime you're going to play a team like Orleans, they were very desperate, and they showed that tonight. Unfortunately, not enough for them, but a great win for the Harbor Hawks.
Absolutely a great win for this Hyannis ball club, especially a bounce-back win for the Harbor Hawks after what was a 10-6 drubbing in Wareham last night. This ball club getting back late from Wareham after a very long drive home after a disappointing game. But again, Rob, as we mentioned in the top of the ninth of the Wareham game, 4 runs coming to plate for the Harbor Hawks and a little bit of momentum starting for an offense that came alive for 11 runs tonight.
They sure did, and definitely some timely hitting.
Plenty of hitting to go around and plenty for Lyle Goldstein to cover in the postgame show in mere moments here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Stick around for that. On behalf of my play-by-play partner, Robert Marcello, I'm Chris Lucey. Thank you so much for listening to our call of the game. Be sure to catch Lyle's postgame show and all of our postgame coverage on YouTube, be it Hawk Talk or the postgame show. Back in just a few moments on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright.
Welcome back into the Hyannis Harbor Hawks postgame show. I'm your host, Lyle Goldstein, and Hyannis downs Orleans 11-9 and sweeps the Firebirds in the 2018 series between the Eastern Division and Western Division rivals. 11-9, the final score for the Harbor Hawks. And how about the spark plug in Chad Gassman, maybe the most insane ejection you'll see this summer on the Cape League, chucking baseballs on the field, unhappy with balls and strikes, unhappy with the ball called on the line. And how about after that ejection, Hyannis down by a score of 5-1, and they come back to rally 5-0, we should say, and take this one 11-9. We saw the Gatemen go out to a very early lead in yesterday's contest, and Hyannis chipped away, but just a little too late. Not the story tonight. Hyannis scores in 6 of their 8 frames on offense. The go-ahead hit Tommy Jew's 2-run triple in the 8th to give him an 11-9 edge. Seth Gray with the 2-run homer also lighting up this game. Everybody lighting it up for the Harbor Hawks, you could say, in this game. Every player reaching base for Hyannis. Harbor Hawks total 6, 9, 11, 12, 13, 14 hits in this ball game. And how about this? Despite leaving 9, 11, 12, 13 runners on base, they muster up just enough offense to down Orleans in an offensive shootout. 20 runs from the combined teams, but Hyannis pulls away 11-9. Winning pitcher in tonight's game, Ryan Pepio, the right-hander out of Butler, and picking up the save, Dylan Thomas out of Hawaii. Right-hander picks up save number 9 of his summer, and the Harbor Hawks go back in to second place for now with a 47-point total, 2 over the Commodores, 4 now over the Kettleers, and trailing the Gatemen by 2. 11-9, one more time, the final score. What an insane ball game here at McKeon Park. You can catch much more about it on Hawk Talk just in a little bit. That'll be up on YouTube tomorrow. But for now, 11-9, the final score. Hyannis moving to a record on the season of 22-16-3. Firebirds dropped to 13-27-1, still 1 point behind the Brewster Whitecaps for the last playoff spot. We thank you for joining us, and we'll talk to you tomorrow here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.